Welcome back from People's Bank Park in York, Pennsylvania. We apologize for all the technical issues we have had here tonight. The Lancaster Barnstormers taking on the York Revolution. At times the video was working. We could not keep the signal going. So we're going to have to abandon that and regroup. I don't know. The question is the equipment that we have or the bandwidth out of the ballpark with everything going on here on opening night. But glad you could join us. Here are the starting lineups for this evening's ball game. First for the visiting Barnstormers, it will be Darian Sanford leading off in center field. Tyler Bortnick, the third baseman, will be hitting number 2. Blake Galen is in right field batting third. The cleanup hitter is the first baseman, Joey Trdoslavich. Kyle Waldrop is batting fifth. He's the designated hitter. Trayvon Robinson batting sixth in left field. The catcher hitting seventh is Anderson De La Rosa. It will be Vladimir Frias batting eighth at shortstop. Rico Noel is the second baseman batting number 9. Joe Gardner on the hill. He is 3-4 last year with a 5.96 ERA, an 18-game winner as a Barnstormer over his 4 tours of duty here. For the York Revolution this evening, it will be Jared Mitchell leading off, playing right field. The second baseman batting number 2 is Alexi Casilla. Jose Cuevas is batting third. He is at third base. The designated hitter in the cleanup slot is Michael Burgess. Zach Wilson, the star from Southern Maryland the past couple of years, is the first baseman batting fifth. All-star hero in York, Ruby Silva, batting sixth. He is out in left. The shortstop batting eighth is Ryan Dent. Tyler Clark, a Barnstormer a year ago, is batting eighth. He is doing the catching. And in the number 9 slot is a Barnstormer from 2 seasons back, Travis Witherspoon, in center for the Revs tonight. On the hill is Jay Goss. He was picked up by the Revs in need of starting pitching last year, and like the Barnstormers got with Nate Coronado, who didn't have a length of experience, York got it with Jay Goss. He only had a short season behind him in 2014, returned last year. He was 10-4 with a 3.67 earned run average for the Revs here a year ago. Mark Mason trying to make it 2 in a row here in York. They've done it before under Andy Etchebarren in 10-11. He's trying to repeat it in 17-18. Ross Peoples with the league's best record in 2017, a Manager of the Year award behind him, but no playoff berth. He's trying to win his first title at the helm of the Lancaster Barnstormers. We'll be back with the first pitch of tonight's ball game in just a moment, right here on the Lancaster Barnstormers YouTube channel.
Celebrate the history of our national pastime at the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum in Cooperstown. See priceless treasures that will bring your baseball memories to life. Find stories that will inspire and surprise. Cooperstown is where you, your family, and your friends can relive baseball's greatest moments in honor of the all-time greats of the game. See all that the Hall of Fame and Museum has to offer and plan your family visit today at baseballhall.org.
Right-hander Jay Gauss on the hill tonight for the host York Revolution. Gauss is from the state of North Carolina. He lives in Ocean Isle Beach, 6'2", 260-pound, 26-year-old who has an interesting career path that could lead to something big if he continues to turn in the work he did here in York last year. He was signed by the Houston Astros in the 10th round back in 2014, pitched at Tri-Cities, their NYP League affiliate that year up in the Capital District of New York State. and did all right, and said he had a tired arm. He went to work for 2 years in a nuclear power plant, decided to give it a go again in baseball last year, and he was marvelous for the Revs. He threw 90 2/3 innings, giving up 87 hits, 37 earned runs. He did walk several, 45, while striking out 74. He was 10-4 with a 3.67 earned run average. Here is Darian Sanford leading off for the Barnstormers this evening. Sanford, the switch-hitting center fielder, and of course, he was a great find for Ross Peoples last year, in and out of Lancaster. First pitch from the right-hander Gauss is wide of the plate for a ball, 1-0. Sanford hit .324 with 26 runs batted in, no home runs. But, of course, with Darian, the big deal is his speed. He stole 45 bases in 60 games a season back. Gauss is upstairs with the next delivery, and it's ball 2 on the fleet-footed Sanford. Tyler Bortnick on deck, and then Blake Galen for the Barnstormers as we get the 2018 season underway. Here is the windup. And a Sanford swing and a miss against a powerful fastball. 2 balls and 1 strike the count. Jose Cuevas, imported from the now defunct Bridgeport Bluefish, over at third base. Ryan Dent is at short. Alexi Casilla at second. Zach Wilson at first for the Revs. Sanford pops it up on the left side. Dent calling for it right in front of the outfield lawn. He is there to make the catch. Out number 1 of the season recorded. Sanford goes down. And Tyler Bortnick, the Barnstormers' third baseman, will step in. Bortnick, a Barnstormer back in 2015. Last year, resurfaced in the Atlantic League, but not with Lancaster. He was at Somerset. He batted .273 with 2 home runs and 30 runs batted in last season. With the Patriots, was signed by the Seattle Mariners. First pitch onto the outside corner by Gauss for a strike called. It's 0-1. Jay Gauss in the zone with his last 3 pitches after missing with the first 2. Here's the windup, the next delivery, missing the inside corner, and the count levels on Bortnick at a ball and a strike. Ruby Silva in left, Travis Witherspoon in center, Jared Mitchell, the right fielder, Tyler Clark behind the plate for the Revolution tonight. Here's the motion and the pitch, slashed foul off to the right side. Ball 1, 2 strikes, the count on Bortnick. The Barnstormers in brand new road jerseys and nothing like we've ever seen before. Black with white and red striping and then reddish sleeves. And they are something. They've been one of the conversations around the ballpark here tonight. Swing and a miss by Bortnick. He goes down at the fastball, 2 away. And Blake Galen, the right fielder, will step in. I don't know how much, as we were trying to work out the technical problems that we had, that you were able to listen to our pregame chat with manager Ross Peoples. I asked him about how much he could tell out of spring training. And really, you couldn't tell a whole lot out of spring training. The Barnstormers played 2 games against York in absolutely wretched weather, and then had 2 games against the Black Sox and 1 game against Lancaster Bible College. First pitch to Blake Galen is low for a ball. Galen played his last Atlantic League game right here in York, but not on the 17th of September last year, but at the end of June 25 was Blake's last game, and then received word after that game that the Los Angeles Dodgers wanted his services. They purchased his contract. He spent the rest of the year at AA Tulsa. Line drive up the middle, base hit over the glove of Gauss and into center field. Blake Galen, the Barnstormers' all-time hits leader, adding number 525 of his Barnstormer career, the only man to reach the 500 mark in a Lancaster uniform. Now a guy that may be the key to this ball club early this season, Joey Trdoslavich, a former Atlanta Brave. He's in the lineup tonight at first base. He plays first, third, and the outfield. Barnstormers plan to use him mostly at first, may occasionally move him across the diamond to third. The outfield's pretty well stacked. Swing and a miss by Trdoslavich. No balls and a strike. Kyle Waldrop, the designated hitter, scheduled to bat next. Ross Peoples coaching third. Josh Bell over at first base. 2 outs. Galen the runner. Gauss working out of the stretch for the first time. Delivers to the plate the fastball, missing upstairs. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Here's the wind, the delivery, inside and low, chased down by Clark, and the count goes to 2-1. Turdoslavich, 2 balls, 1 strike. Galen, the runner at first base with 2 men out. We'll see if Galen takes off. 9 stolen bases last year for Galen as a Barnstormer. Here's the motion. Runner holds. Turdoslavich gets ball 3 down and away. 3 balls and a strike. Designated hitter Kyle Waldrop is due next. The motion, 3-1 pitch, swinging a foul back over the screen. Bouncing off the facade of the stadium here at Peoples Bank Park. He had 300 to that big wall out in left field, 37.5 feet high. 405 to center, 325 down the right field side at Peoples Bank Park. Some high clouds beginning to roll in. I guess rain expected in the overnight hours. It's been a spectacular late afternoon and early evening here in York. Here's the payoff pitch. Runner goes, and this is muscled toward the middle. Going for it is the second baseman. Casilla cannot get there. It rolls slowly into center field. On to third goes Galen Turdoslavich with a base hit. And Kyle Waldrop will step into the batter's box as the Barnstormers mount a 2-out threat here in the opening inning. Waldrop, the DH, batted .303 last year in Double-A. 10 home runs, 68 driven in. 28 doubles, also spent a short amount of time at AAA, but he, like Turdoslavich, has some time logged at the major league level. He was a Cincinnati Red for a couple of short stints. Ground ball right side. This will be handled by the second baseman Casilla to his left, and the Barnstormers can't cash in here in the first inning. No runs on 2 hits with no errors, 2 men left on base at the end of 1/2 an inning here at Peoples Bank Park. The Barnstormers nothing, in the York Revolution coming up.
You're totally probably safe to ride on your spare for what, 6, maybe 9 months?
Don't trust the wrong advice. Get the right tires at the right price right away. It's what we've been doing at Jack Williams Tire right here in Pennsylvania since our family started this business back in 1929. Because doing things the right way is just the Williams way. Get the right tires right now at jackwilliams.com.
Lancaster Bible College has been around since 1933, but did you know that they offer degrees in much more than just Bible? LBC offers degrees in criminal justice, business, professional counseling, and more, as well as graduate and seminary degrees in areas like Christian care, chaplaincy, education, and leadership studies. To learn more about LBC and the programs they offer, visit lbc.edu. That's lbc.edu. Back with you from Peoples Bank Park here in York. Jared Mitchell leading off for the Revolution tonight against right-hander Joe Gardner. Gardner, big fella from Fremont, California, 6'5", 225 pounds. Just reached 30 years of age a month or so ago. Third-round pick for the Cleveland Indians back in 2009. but now his 5th season in a Barnstormers uniform. He becomes only the 6th player in the history of the franchise to don a Barnstormers jersey in parts of 5 seasons. He's never been here for a full year, and in fact, he has never started the season in Lancaster. He's shown up somewhere along the way each of the last 4 years, swinging a foul ball back. The count to the left-handed batting Jared Mitchell is a ball and a strike. Gardner with the Barnstormers last year came around the 1st of August. He made 9 starts, 10 overall appearances, 3-4, 5.96 ERA, 48 1/3 innings. He did allow 70 hits, walked 29, struck out 32. Called strike to the inside corner, 1-2. He pitched his maybe best game of the year here on the final Friday of the season. He kept the Barnstormers in the hunt with an 11-1 win over the York Revolution on Friday night, September 15th. Here is the windup and the pitch. Mitchell gives this a ride. He had a big spring training. He continues it into the regular season. Way back it goes, and the walls will not contain it. A leadoff home run for Jared Mitchell here in the York half of the 1st inning. The Revs already out to a 1-0 start. Mitchell hit a tremendous shot in this ballpark in the 9th inning of our spring training game here a week ago yesterday, and this one counts. A mammoth blow to one of the fattest parts of the ballpark. Didn't get out by a tremendous amount, but you hit the ball just to the right of the batter's eye here in York. That is a mighty shot. Now here is Alexi Casillas, switch-hitting second baseman, longtime Minnesota Twins utility player, and he gives one a ride out to right center field. This one shallow, racing in, diving for it, rolling over, and making a great catch is Blake Galen. Blake Galen denying Alexi Casillas a follow-up base hit here in the 1st inning after the leadoff home run by Jared Mitchell. Galen, a great play out in right field. He's trying to deny Father Time. Blake now 33 years of age and not showing it. He has fully recovered from the injuries that plagued him a couple of years back. They'll put a star by that one in the scorebook. One away. Here is Jose Cuevas. He hit 2 home runs in the spring training game here, both down the left field line. First pitch missing away. Ball 1, no strikes to Cuevas. Designated hitter Michael Burgess waiting on deck. York has assembled pretty much an Atlantic League all-star team. Called strike on the outside edge, 1-1. I mean, you look at this lineup. Mitchell had a good year here. Casillas. Then you have Cuevas, who has been a solid member of the Bridgeport Bluefish the last couple of years. Star Zach Wilson from the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs. Foul ball back. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The vacuum cleaner himself, Ryan Dent at shortstop. Travis Witherspoon, an outstanding center fielder. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. The motion and the offering into the dirt, covered up by Anderson De La Rosa. It's 2-2. The Barnstormers featuring Tyler Bortnick at third, Vladimir Frias at short, Rico Noel at second, Joey Terdoslavich at first. Trayvon Robinson, Darian Sanford, Blake Galen, the outfield from left to right. De La Rosa behind the plate working with Gardner. Here is the pitch. Swing and a miss. Cuevas goes out of the zone, chasing an offering from Gardner. Joe taking advantage of being ahead in the count. 2 put away, and now the designated hitter, Michael Burgess, will step in. Now, you may remember back to last year, and I don't have the exact figures in front of me, but Gardner, for his first 6 or 7 starts with the Barnstormers a year ago, he just had a hard time with left-handed batters. And it starts that way again tonight. Mitchell with the home run. Casillas robbed of a base hit on that splendid play by Galen. But the right-handed hitters have trouble with Joe. Strikeout of Cuevas. Now, the shift is on against Burgess, but he pops it up the other way. Down the left field line, charging over Trayvon Robinson. Trayvon disappearing into the bullpen and unable ever to catch up to that pop fly the other way off the bat of Michael Burgess. 1 strike the count. Burgess, a burly left-handed batter, hit .264 with 17 home runs and 66 runs batted in. The Revolution last year, his 4th season in the Atlantic League. He first came partway through 2015, joining the Somerset Patriots, hit .251 with 15 home runs that year. And then York had him for 43 games in 16 after a stint in Mexico. And then the full season here with the Revs a year ago. Now the shift is on. Frias to the right side of second base, because that's where Burgess largely will hit ground balls. If he hits it in the air, well, that's an entirely different story. The count to him, a ball and a strike, as Gardner crowds him inside, is he's got good power the other way, which is an asset for a left-handed batter in this ballpark. Breaking ball, missing inside. Gardner trying to pitch into the defense. Joe into the windup, the pitch, dancing inside again. Burgess with the 3-1 count. 1-0 Revs. As we are in the lower half of the first inning, the Barnstormers put together a 2-out threat in the top of the inning. In case you're just tuning in, Blake Galen and Joey Trdoslavich with back-to-back singles up the middle. They couldn't take advantage of the opportunity, and then Jared Mitchell launches a pitch out of the ballpark, leading off the season for the York Revolution. Ball 4 is inside to Burgess. 2-out base runner, and that will bring on Zach Wilson. The name alone makes me cringe. As you may recall, Wilson, probably more than anybody else, set Southern Maryland up to win the first half over the Barnstormers last year because he was a wrecking ball against Lancaster in the head-to-head matchups. 18 runs batted in for Zach in the 9 first-half games. He was no longer available by the time the makeup game was to be played, eventually in August, and he was on the coaching staff for the Revs. First pitch onto the outside corner for a called strike. He was sidelined by the formation of blood clots in his shoulder. And of course, you're not able to play when you're being treated for that. Too many bad things can happen, outside and low, a ball and a strike. So it's good to see Zach back on the field for the benefit of Zach Wilson, not necessarily for the benefit of Atlantic League pitchers. While active last year, .282 with 14 home runs and 52 runs batted in. Lob toss over first base, diving back in Burgess. Michael Burgess, not what you would consider a significant threat to steal a base. He never has in a Revs uniform. He stole one for Somerset back in 15. 1 ball, 1 strike, swung on and missed by Wilson. Now 1-2. 1-0 York, lower half of the first inning. Coming your way on opening night from Peoples Bank Park. Again, we had hoped to send you video. It was working perfectly at 5 o'clock. We tested it all out, and then it froze up and wouldn't restart. Ground ball, Vladimir Frias handles toward the hole. He feeds Noel covering second. That will do it for the Revs in the first, but it's a productive opening inning for the York Revolution with 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on the base paths at the end of an inning. It is York 1 and the Barnstormers nothing.
Localflavor.com, local flavor, localflavor.com, local flavor.
Excuse me, are you saying localflavor.com?
Oh, yeah, it's where I save big bucks on all kinds of things. Home improvement projects, dining out, family fun, electronics, jewelry, clothing. I even bought my wife a fancy spa package for half price.
Half price?
Yep, you know all the deals you find in Clipper Magazine.
I love Clipper Magazine.
Well, they're all on localflavor.com too. And you can get them right on your phone thanks to localflavor.com's mobile app. Here, take a look.
Well, this app is amazing. Look at all these restaurants, amusement parks, car washes, fitness centers. This is worth sharing about.
Exactly. Localflavor.com online, the Local Flavor mobile app, and Clipper Magazine together. It's like a triple play.
Do the cheer again. I'm in.
Localflavor.com, local flavor. Come on, everybody! Localflavor.com, local flavor. Localflavor.com, local flavor.
We head to the top of the second inning, and for the Barnstormers, it will be Trayvon Robinson leading off. Robinson hitting .287, 7 home runs, and he has knocked in 39 a year ago. Of course, Trayvon in 2017 was just plagued by aches and pains in his legs. His muscles kept going out, one here, one there. Now, an off-season regimen. He's fully ready to go, looking forward to a big year. Ball one outside from Goss, 1-0. Trayvon down the stretch was a terrific contributor for the Barnstormers. Looped out to left. Ruby Silva a step back, then charges in to make the catch. One man out. Anderson De La Rosa will come to the plate. Stalwart back there. Last year, and Ross is the first person to admit this, he used Anderson too much down the stretch of the first half, and De La Rosa was pretty banged up in the second half of the season. The Barnstormers did bring Steve Clevenger in, and down the stretch, Clevenger and Tyler Clark handled the bulk of the catching chores. De La Rosa had a very nice first half. Got him a trip to the Atlantic League All-Star game. He ended up batting .255 with 3 homers and 38 batted in. Here's the pitch, and that's inside. Ball one to him, 1-0. One out, nobody on. Top of the second inning. The Barnstormers putting the ball in play against Goss, but only 2 singles and 2 runners left on base to show for it. Now a lofty pop-up out to right. Underneath is Jared Mitchell. Easy play for the right fielder. 2 men gone. Vladimir Frias will come to the plate. Another man returning to the Barnstormers for his second year. Vladimir, .277, 5 homers, 30 runs batted in. And then on the 18th of July, got the call from the Arizona Diamondbacks. They purchased his contract, and he ended up, although the stay was not long, Vladimir got the first taste of AAA in his baseball career, which dates all the way back to 2008. He was able to get into 3 games for the Reno Aces, the AAA affiliate of the Diamondbacks, and he was 4 for 9. The higher Vlad goes, the better he gets. Inside and low. Ball one and no strikes. He had .223 at AA Jackson. Here's the motion. 1-0 pitch. Fastball planted in there. It is a ball and a strike from Goss. He's retired 5 out of 7 has Goss. Signal being given by Tyler Clark. The motion, the pitch. Frias checks on an offering low. 2 balls and a strike. Derek Moshe calling the balls and strikes tonight, by the way, with Calvin Baker at first base and Mike Williams over at third. We're very familiar with Moshe, not so much with Calvin Baker. We've seen Mike Williams over the years from time to time. Ball 3 is outside. 3 balls and a strike to Frias. Rico Noel, the Barnstormer second baseman, waiting on deck. And that number 9 slot now, just like York with Travis Witherspoon there, the Barnstormers Noel, it's kind of a second leadoff spot, if you will. That pitch is outside for ball 4. Frias knew where the pitch was, but he wasn't absolutely certain that Derek Moshe was giving him the base on balls. He stood there for a moment in the batter's box before tossing the bat away. It had me double-checking the scoreboard and my fingers and anything else you might want to count with. But indeed, ball 4. The pitch was well out of the zone. Here is Rico Noel. Was with the Barnstormers last year, and also his contract purchased by the Houston Astros. 1 ball, high and inside was Goss, who has missed the strike zone quite a bit here in these 2 innings. But it is yet to cost him. Barnstormers have Frias aboard with 2 outs, and you have to wonder here if Vlad's going to be on the move. He stole 12 bases for the Barnstormers a year ago. Noel is largely a singles hitter. And if Vlad's thrown out, you still get Rico to start the next inning. Goss comes to the set. Frias holds the pitch to the inside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike on Rico Noel. Darian Sanford, the center fielder, waiting on deck. The Barnstormers down by a run on the Jared Mitchell homer. We saw this in the 2 spring training games played between these 2 ball clubs. York won here 10-2, and they hit 4 home runs in that game. It's a power-laden ball club. Then you flip the script. Last Thursday, the wind blowing in at Clipper Magazine Stadium and what admittedly was a miserable day, and the Barnstormers were able to win on little ball because that's the big weapon of this ball club. They're going to be able to steal bases. They're going to be able to do those small things and manufacture the runs. Here's the pitch, swing and a miss. It's in the dirt. Taking off for second is Frias, and he'll make it on the wild pitch. Frias moving ahead to second without the need to steal it. It's given to him on an errant pitch by Goss in the dirt. Clark got a piece of it, but couldn't keep it from rolling on by. Rico Noel, the second Barnstormer of the game, to bat with a runner in scoring position. Kyle Waldrop grounded out back in the first inning. Noel, though, in the hole, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Frias leads off second. The pitch by Gauss inside, spinning Noel around. And Rico will get hit from time to time. 2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 outs. Sanford, who all in all was a pretty good clutch hitter for the Barnstormers back in 17. He waits on deck, especially in the late innings. Time is called. Goss backs off the rubber. Noel backs away from the plate, but not entirely out of the batter's box. You're not allowed to. Frias again with the lead from second base. Gauss comes set, glances back. Here's the 2-2 offering. Beaten foul right down into the dirt around home plate and then trickling over towards Sanford. Continuing, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Lancaster with 3 runners on board so far, 2 singles and a walk. York with the home run and the walk in the first inning, and fortunately in that sequence, it only cost Joe Gardner 1 run. 2-2, 2 outs, and an OL, a fastball very high. 3-2. And of course, the Barnstormers do not have a great deal of height among their position players. You've got 5 or 6 of the 8 guys in the field, not counting Gardner, who are under 6 feet tall. Ball 4 is down low. It's back-to-back walks served up by Gauss. And now here is Darian Sanford. Sanford popped up to shortstop Ryan Dent, leading off the ball game. Darian did hit a home run against the Black Sox. So we know he can reach the picnic deck. He did not hit a home run last year at all. 4 doubles, 2 triples. They play him very shallow around the outfield here. Runners lead from first and second. Sanford swings and hits the ball pretty well out toward right center field. On the run, Mitchell. Jared Mitchell can't track it down. The ball all the way through into the alley. Frias will score. Noel is on his heels. Sanford stops at second with a 2-run double, and the Barnstormers take the lead. Darian Sanford, a guy you don't really count on for any pop. You don't count on him to be a run producer, but time after time last year, when the Barnstormers needed it, when he stepped in with runners in scoring position, he came through and he puts the ball past the outfielders playing shallow. Jared Mitchell simply could not get there. Sanford holding on at second with the double. He's going to score on a base hit to the outfield anyway. Here is Tyler Bortnick stepping in. Lancaster grabbing the 2-1 lead in the top of the second. Bortnick was a strikeout victim back in the first. Now he's got Sanford at second with 2 away. The Goss pitch, breaking ball, just catches the outside corner for a called strike. It is 0-1. Barnstormers gaining the edge. Sanford bobbing around off second, trying to coax maybe a bad throw out of Gauss. Gauss bluffed that throw as Casilla headed over towards second base. Sanford will take risks out there. He's an exciting player to watch. Sometimes it backfires. Here's the 0-1 breaking ball, and Bortnick unable to read that. He swings and misses. No balls and 2 strikes. Lancaster with its first lead of the season. This sort of dates back to last year. The Barnstormers seemed highly unable to score the first run of the game. Sanford bobbing off second. Pitch gets away from Clark. Sanford's going to try it, and he'll make it. Another wild pitch, the second of the inning. Darian Sanford up to third. One ball, 2 strikes. Here is the motion and the pitch. Lashed foul to the right, now to play. Bortnick sticking in at a ball and 2 strikes, trying to deliver Sanford with the Barnstormers' third run of the game. Here's the motion. Sanford up the line from third. 1-2, and this bounces away from Clark. Clark can't find it. It's past him, and in comes Sanford to score the third run on the third wild pitch of the inning. Charge to Jay Gauss. He and Tyler Clark having difficulty connecting. Clark hasn't been able to stop the pitches in the dirt, and the Barnstormers use it to put a third run on the board. Bortnick at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Digging back in. Breaking ball is outside and low. And we go to 3-2. Here's the wind. The payoff pitch. Bortnick with a high fly ball to center. Gliding toward his right is Witherspoon. He camps underneath to make the catch. So every outfielder gets into the action here in the second inning. But the Barnstormers pick up 3 runs. They do it with only 1 hit, the double by Sanford. No errors in the inning and nobody left on base. We're through 1.5. Lancaster 3 and York 1.
We can't help but always want more, especially on the road. More horsepower, heightened handling, elevated design. Get more out of your drive with a Lexus IS. Bold styling, track-tuned handling, available 311 horsepower. Experience the exhilaration of the IS 350 and IS 300. Available in F-Sport and all-wheel drive. See Bobby Rahal Lexus in Mechanicsburg.
Enjoy weekends with the Barnstormers all season long. Every Friday evening home game will feature a different giveaway ranging from t-shirts to beach towels to backpacks. On Saturdays, enjoy the best entertainment doubleheader there is with Barnstormers baseball followed by fireworks. Sundays are fun days at the ballpark. Get autographs from some of your favorite Barnstormers players and play catch on the field before the game. Once the game is over, it's a Domino's Pizza Kids base run. Call 717-509-HITS to order your tickets or go to LancasterBarnstormers.com and we'll see you at the ballpark. Here is Ruby Silva to lead off the second inning. Silva came in September to York after a season with the Sussex County Ball Club in the Can-Am League. Swing and a miss, it's 0-1. And he just lit it up here, both in the tail end of the regular season and then on into the playoffs. He was 11 for 29, 379 in the regular season. Line drive and a foul ball, says the third base umpire, Michael Williams. Down the stripe and foul maybe by inches, absolutely blistered by Silva. No balls and 2 strikes. Absolutely wicked line drive off the bat of the left-handed hitting Silva, one-time Chicago Cubs farmhand. Leading off the bottom of the second, the Barnstormers are up by a 3-1 score. Here's the motion, and the Gardner pitch. Tapper off to the first base side of the mound. Gardner will field underhand to Terdoslavich. Silva retired 1-3. A near double for Ruby Silva, and then a weak tap out. Back to the pitcher, Gardner. One away. Ryan Dent, the shortstop, will come to the plate. Dent had one huge game against the Barnstormers last year, a 6 RBI affair here in York. But mostly his presence in the season series was felt defensively, with one stellar play after another, whether it's shortstop or at third base. Overall, a .266 hitter with 5 home runs for the Revs a year ago. Here's the delivery from Gardner. First pitch in for a strike, 0-1. And it looks like Joe's settling down after a rocky beginning. He's gotten back-to-back ground balls, and that is a good sign. He is a ground ball type pitcher. Won't rack up too many Ks. Nice play by Noel Polanco on a smash foul. The third base coach for the Revolution, a nifty stop on a couple of very quick skips out to him. 0-2 to Dent. Former Barnstormer Tyler Clark waiting in the on-deck circle. Here's the wind. Gardner ready. Upstairs, missing with the delivery. Ball 1 and 2 strikes. Gardner is, over his career, had a fair amount of success against the York Revolution. He is 3-1 lifetime with a 2.35 ERA coming into tonight against the Revs. Swing and a miss. He had Dent fooled. Second strikeout for Gardner. 2 away. And here is Tyler Clark, who homered against the Barnstormers in spring training, but from the right side of the plate. First pitch is high and outside. Ball 1, 1-0. The motion. Gardner comes back. Popped up foul off the end of Clark's bat. Count evens up at a ball and a strike. 3-1 Lancaster. A leadoff home run in the ball game for York by Jared Mitchell. The Barnstormers come back on the strength of a Darian Sanford 2-run double. He later scored on a couple of wild pitches. Down and away. Clark bats at 2-1. Travis Witherspoon, the center fielder, waiting on deck. Joe Gardner rearing back. Here's a 2-1. Drops an off-speed pitch into the zone. Clark looking at it. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And there's strike 3 called on a fastball, mixing the speeds on Clark. That is the first called third strike for Gardner in the ball game. He sets the side down in order in the lower half of the second inning. Nothing across for the York Revolution at the end of 2. Barnstormers are up by a score of 3-1.
Okay, John, shelves are stocked.
So are the new Fast Play games from the Pennsylvania Lottery. Just pick your game, get your ticket, and see if you've won.
Like $20 on the spot, loaded with $20 prizes.
Yep, winning's never been faster.
Not faster than me clearing these shelves.
Dude, I hope you're even faster at restocking.
Yeah.
Fast Play. Play fast, win instantly. The Pennsylvania Lottery. Players must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly. Benefits older Pennsylvanians every day.
Enjoy a weeknight with the Barnstormers and leave with your wallet largely intact. Come on out on Munchie Mondays for all you can eat nachos, dogs, fries, popcorn, and soda for 2 hours. Or how about Koozie Tuesdays, where fans of legal age can enjoy $2 domestic drafts from 6:30 to 8. Bring your dog on Wiener Wednesdays and enjoy delicious dollar dogs as well. Or on Thrifty Thursday, popcorn is just $1, sodas are $2, and lawn seats are only $3. Call 717-509-HITS to order your tickets or go to LancasterBarnstormers.com, and we'll see you at the ballpark. Here's Blake Galen leading off the Barnstormers half of the third inning. Galen with a single up the middle. Coming back in the first inning, he was left stranded at third base when the inning came to a close. The all-time Barnstormer is in his 7th season. The all-time Barnstormers position player, career leader in runs, hits, doubles, home runs. Next RBI will put him number 1 officially in that category. Lofted out to right field off the bat handle, racing in Jared Mitchell to make the catch. Not quite as splendid as the play that Galen made himself against Alexi Casilla back in the opening inning, but a good one nonetheless. Mitchell came sprinting in. Blake didn't get all of that. It looked like he hit it maybe around the label and just lobbed it out toward right field. It didn't have a lot behind it. One away, Joey Turdoslavich stepping in. Turdoslavich a base hit up the middle back in the first inning. Goss ready to go. Breaking ball, dances low. Ball 1, no strikes. The Barnstormers have not had a runner reach base before 2 outs in any inning so far. Turdoslavich trying to become the first guy to get there. Here's the windup. And Turdoslavich goes the other way toward the left field corner, but again, not enough on it. Ruby Silva glides over toward the line. He makes the catch. 2 up and 2 down on only 3 pitches, so Kyle Waldrop may take 1 or 2 here. Lancaster 3, York 1, top half of the third inning. Waldrop grounded out. Back in the first frame. The last 5 putouts for Jay Gauss have been on fairly routine fly balls to the outfield. Here's the motion. And a Waldrop, grounded foul straight back. So he was up there swinging aggressively against Gauss. Not thinking about giving Joe Gardner a little bit of a longer break between innings. No balls and a strike, just 4 pitches thrown by Gauss. Here in the top of the third, swinging a number toward third, charging in Cuevas. The former Bridgeport third baseman makes the throw, but pulls Zach Wilson off the bag at first as he raced in and made the toss across the diamond. We'll see how that one is ruled. Cuevas was playing back and charged in, was somewhat off balance when he made the throw. Wilson unable to hold the bag. So Kyle Waldrop safe at first base. A base hit awarded to Waldrop. And Trayvon Robinson stepping in. Cuevas had to make the off-balance throw. Runner reaching safely. Here's the motion. And Robinson, big swing, foul ball back into the padding. 1 strike the count on Trayvon. He has taken a huge leadership role down in the clubhouse. He is the liaison really between the clubhouse and the front office, the press box, of course, always available for everything we need. Swing and a miss. Robinson in the hole, no balls and 2 strikes against Gauss. So the pattern has continued. Gauss getting the first 2 outs of the inning pretty quickly and then struggling to get the third. It didn't cost him in the first inning. It did dearly in the second. Robinson looking to make him pay here in the third inning. Kyle Waldrop, the runner on the scratch single. I don't know that Kyle Waldrop is a guy who's going to get too many leg hits in his career, but he does have one here. 0-2, Robinson checks on the swing. The pitch ends up in the dirt. York asking for help and turned down. Ball 1 and 2 strikes. Anderson De La Rosa, the Barnstormers catcher, waiting on deck. The runner goes. The pitch is inside, and no throw made by Tyler Clark. So who would figure that the first stolen base picked up by a Barnstormer in 2018 would not be by Darian Sanford or Rico Noel or Trayvon Robinson or Tyler Bortnick or Vladimir Frias, but it's the number 5 hitter, Kyle Waldrop, who stole 4 bases last season. He is in scoring position, 2-2 on Robinson, trying to extend the Barnstormers' lead. Here's the set. Gauss ready to go. The pitch breaks inside. Robinson with a very good eye. 3-2. But Gauss may be more inclined to want to deal with the right-handed batting De La Rosa anyhow. So Robinson may not see a lot here. He walked 48 times last year to Trayvon. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch, and that catches the inside corner for strike 3 called. Robinson had actually jackknifed out of the way, gets rung up on the 3rd strike, and that will end the inning. No runs on 1 hit with no errors and 1 man left on base. Bottom half of inning number 3 on the way. The score, the Barnstormers 3 and the York Revolution 1.
Learn from the pros right here in Lancaster. The Lancaster Barnstormers are offering 2 3-day-long youth clinics this summer with instruction on pitching, hitting, fielding, and base running. Each session, led by veteran professional players, will last from 9 until noon with lunch to follow. Choose from June 19th to 21st or July 24th to 26th. So learn what it takes to succeed on the field and off. Call the Barnstormers office at 717-509-HITS or go to LancasterBarnstormers.com. Space is limited. Act now.
Introducing the all-new Lexus RX 350L, designed for room. Room for a power folding 3rd row. Room for up to 7.
Yeah, we should go to that.
And room for the unexpected. The 3-row RXL. It's the RX with room for more. Experience the innovative RXL and RXL Hybrid. See Bobby Rahal Lexus in Mechanicsburg.
RX 450HL arriving spring 2018.
Kyle Waldrop with the Barnstormers' first stolen base of the year. Now, I brought up that he didn't steal many bases last year, and he hasn't over the last 3. There have only been 10 stolen bases for Waldrop over the last 3 seasons. But if you go back deeper into his career than that, you'll discover that in the California League back in 2013, he stole 20. So he's got some legs too. First pitch is high to Travis Witherspoon, the center fielder leading off for the York Revolution here in the home half of the 3rd inning. Ball 1, no strikes. 275 for Witherspoon a year ago. 8 homers, 48 runs batted in. Upstairs, up and in, 2-0, the count from Gardner. Witherspoon, a guy who can do some exciting things. Great catches. He's got good power. When he gets the right pitch, can fly in the bases. Called strike from Gardner. Witherspoon didn't like the 2-0. It's now 2 balls and a strike. Gardner gave up a home run to the guy on deck. Jared Mitchell leading off the ball game. He's retired 6 of 7 since then. Swing and a miss. Witherspoon let it fly, tantalized by a breaking ball. 2 balls, 2 strikes the count to the leadoff batter in the home half of the 3rd inning. Joe Gardner ready to go into his windup. The pitch, breaking ball again, swing and a miss. De La Rosa digs it up and quickly applies the tag on Witherspoon before he can get more than a half a step out of the box. 4th strikeout tonight for Gardner, including 3 in a row. Here is Jared Mitchell. Mitchell, 295, 14 home runs, 34 doubles last year, 62 runs batted, and he was just part of a ball club that absolutely mangled Atlantic League pitching in the second half of the season. Once they got Telvin Nash back in here, and of course they had Tejeda in here, you couldn't stop them. The entire lineup was just locked in, and Mitchell was a big part of that. He did not have necessarily a great first half last year. Ball 1, no strike. Man who played both baseball and football. A storied LSU Tiger program. Called strike in there on an off-speed pitch from Gardner. It's 1-1. Mitchell just didn't hit any home run leading off the ball game either. He had a mammoth shot just to the right of the batter's eye, which is 405 feet away here. Here's a 1-1. Breaking ball doesn't quite get in the back door. 2 balls and 1 strike. 1 out, nobody on. Alexi Casilla, the second baseman, on deck. Here's the wind. 2-1 from Gardner. Mitchell gives this one a ride also, but this isn't going to carry all that well. It's too high. Out toward the left center field to his right is Sanford. Center fielder puts that away. 2 men down. And Casilla will step in. Alexi Casilla robbed by Blake Galen back in the 1st inning. A great diving catch for Galen on a shallow liner toward right center field. Casilla, a guy the Barnstormers last year simply could not get out. He didn't stay healthy the entire time last year, but when he played against the Barnstormers, he hit .484. Breaking ball, barely misses inside, danced at the end. Casilla showing bunt, and it's ball 1-0. Jose Cuevas waiting on deck. Casilla, had he stayed healthy, would have won the batting title, I do believe. Swinging a foul straight down at the plate, 1 ball and 1 strike. He would have won by plenty. He hit .358, but he only had 246 official at-bats. Fastball is high, 2-1. Little known fact about that, by the way, that if you hit, say, 340 and don't have enough plate appearances, but the guy who's the highest, who does have enough plate appearances around 320, if you go 0 for the difference in plate appearances, you can still win the batting title. I only know of one occasion. It happened in the Pacific Coast League at some point back in the 70s. 2-2. On Alexi Casilla. Gardner peering in, working with Anderson De La Rosa. There's the windup by Joe and the pitch. Breaking ball shatters the bat. Ground ball out to the first baseman, Terdoslavich, who will take it himself. Gardner was too busy dodging lumber flying back his way, so it ends up 3 unassisted. Nothing across. In the bottom half of the 3rd inning, Joe Gardner settled in. And at the end of 3, it's the Lancaster Barnstormers 3 and the York Revolution 1.
Like craft beers, local wines? Well, the best place to be in Lancaster then is Clipper Magazine Stadium. That's right, all new for 2018 is the Broken Bat deck down the right field line. The Broken Bat will feature more than 20 local craft breweries and product from 2 local wineries. If something with a little more kick is your adult beverage of choice, a local distillery is part of the Broken Bat as well. Food will be sold off a pub-style menu, so get together, hang out with your friends, make some new ones, and enjoy a night of craft beer sampling along with a Barnstormers game.
AMT Concerts presents Rock at the Park Festival, Saturday, July 21st, featuring sets from Fuel, Eve 6, Sister Hazel, Long Beach Dub All-Stars, Fastball, and more. Rock at the Park, Saturday, July 21st at Clipper Magazine Stadium, Lancaster. Tickets on sale now at rockatthepark.com.
Three runs, 4 hits, no errors for the Barnstormers, who have stranded 3. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on for the York Revolution. Anderson De La Rosa, Vladimir Frias, and Rico Noel scheduled to bat for the Barnstormers against Jake Goss here in the 4th inning. Unofficially, I have Gauss at 52 pitches over the first 3 frames. He has walked 2 and given up 3 wild pitches. His control has been his downfall so far. In the zone at the knees to start off De La Rosa. No balls and a strike. Again, the Barnstormers have not had a base runner before 2 outs in an inning. De La Rosa lofts one out to left field. Charging over toward his left is Silva. Gauss getting the fly balls routinely out of the Barnstormers. That is now the 6th putout for the 3 members of the outfield. Silva has 3. Mitchell with 2. Witherspoon with 1. The batter is Vladimir Frias. He walked and scored back in the 2nd inning. The 2 walks, the 3 wild pitches, all coming in that 3-run second. Only the double by Sanford. Wrapped foul toward the facing of the York dugout. 1 strike the count on the shortstop Frias. Very often here in the Atlantic League, you'll get lower scoring games. The first couple of games of the season, the hitters just have not had enough plate appearances really to get into any kind of a groove. Breaking ball is inside and low. Frias started to go toward first base, and they are going to give it to him. Hit by the pitch. Breaking ball got him in the foot. It's twice now that Frias has wanted to make sure that first base belonged to him. He checked in with Derek Moshe on the walk in the 2nd inning, and now the Barnstormers have a base runner for the first time before the 2nd out. Rico Noel, the batter, he walked and scored as well back in the 2nd inning. He really worked the count. He was down 1-2. Came back to get the base on ball, swinging a foul tip, brushed into Clark's glove. No balls and a strike. Well, the Barnstormers were able to gallop ahead on the wild pitches in the 2nd inning. 1 with Frias on base and the other 2 with Sanford roaming around. You can't let a pitch get away with Darien because he's going to grab the next base. Inside, and that came off the knob of Noel's bat. 0-2. Rico Noel almost on in back of Vladimir Frias once again, as Gauss just has not been terrific with his control. Galen's single in the 1st inning and Sanford's double in the 2nd. The only balls really well hit. High throw to first base. If that had been at the bag, Frias might have been in trouble. But the high throw gave Vladimir plenty of time to crawl back in underneath. No balls, 2 strikes to Rico Noel. Joe Van Meter warming up down in the bullpen for York. Into the dirt. It scoots away from Clark, and on goes Frias. That's wild pitch number 4. Clark has really had a difficult time blocking anything thrown in the dirt by Jay Goss. Rico Noel batting with a runner at 2nd base and 1 out. Darian Sanford in the on-deck circle. And Lancaster trying to add to a 3-1 lead. Frias meandering off second. Gauss ready to go. Breaking ball dances outside and low on Noel. Now it's 2-2 to Rico. Gauss to the set, glances back at Frias. The pitch, breaking ball, swing and a miss. Noel goes down. Gauss chalks up strikeout number 3. So once again, it's up to Darian Sanford. He delivered back in the second inning. All the runs batted in tonight belong to the leadoff hitters. Jared Mitchell with the home run to start the ball game for York. Sanford, the 2-run double back in the second inning. And they may give him a little bit more respect here. Frias at second base. 2 men are gone. Goss, a couple of glances back. Now a third one. And a Sanford swing and a miss over top of a changeup. No balls and a strike. The Barnstormers bullpen remains empty. Since the first couple of batters of the night, it has been very smooth sailing for Joe Gardner. 7 in a row retired by the Barnstormers right-hander. Ball gets loose from the bullpen where Van Meter is warming up. York will be starting longtime Major Leaguer Russ Detweiler tomorrow night, a lefty. The Barnstormers will have a guy with a pretty good Major League background as well. And of course, the former Atlantic League Pitcher of the Year, Jonathan Albaladejo, going tomorrow night to Sanford. That pops onto the outside edge. And Gauss as the Barnstormers center fielder at 0-2. 2 outs, Frias, the runner at second base. Oh, 2. Frias bluffs off second pitch, stroke, but right at Casilla. 2 skips to the second baseman, hit pretty well again by Sanford. This time, though, he's retired, and it's no runs, no hits, no errors. The Barnstormers strand their 4th of the ball game. We are through 3.5 here at Peoples Bank Park with the score, the Lancaster Barnstormers 3 and the York Revolution 1.
You're totally probably safe to ride on your spare for what, 6, maybe 9 months?
Don't trust the wrong advice. Get the right tires at the right price right away. It's what we've been doing at Jack Williams Tire right here in Pennsylvania since our family started this business back in 1929. Because doing things the right way is just the Williams way. Get the right tires right now at jackwilliams.com.
Lancaster Bible College has been around since 1933, but did you know that they offer degrees in much more than just Bible? LBC offers degrees in criminal justice, business, professional counseling, and more, as well as graduate and seminary degrees in areas like Christian care, chaplaincy, education, and leadership studies. To learn more about LBC and the programs they offer, visit lbc.edu. That's lbc.edu. Jose Cuevas, the third baseman, leads off here in the bottom of the 4th inning for the York Revolution. Barnstormers baseball, first of 126 games this season. The abbreviated schedule because of the 1-year gap in between the Bridgeport Bluefish and the arrival of the new franchise in High Point, North Carolina. I've heard nothing but great things about the setup down there and what the Atlantic League has in store for next year. Construction is just underway, or perhaps better said at this point, at least excavation is underway in High Point. It started 2 weeks ago yesterday. So it's going to be a junket. It's geographically a little bit distant, not Sugarland distant, but 7 hours by bus. Down to High Point, swing and a miss by Cuevas. The count goes to a ball and a strike. But because of that 1-year gap, we do have the return of the Road Warriors here in 2018. And the best thing about the return of the Road Warriors is it means the return of Ellie Rodriguez to the Atlantic League. He's going to manage that ball club. Ellie, of course, a personal favorite, great friend to this league for many, many years, but we haven't seen him in the last, I'd say, 3 or 4 years. At the longtime major league catcher back in the fold, so to speak. 2 balls, 1 strike. The Gardner pitch, strike 2 onto the outer corner. And his right-hand man is going to be Rafael Montalvo, who was actually the pitching coach for the last version of the Road Warriors back in 2011 before we got Sugarland going. And then was Sugarland's pitching coach, coincidentally, last year with Gary Gaetti. And Gary left with about a month left to go, and Rafael took the reins of the ball club for that final month, but they brought Pete Incaviglia in. He wanted his own staff in there. Swing and a miss. Gardner coming high and tight with a fastball. Cuevas gone on strikes for the second time of the game. Gardner has rung up 5 now. 1 away, Michael Burgess stepping in. Burgess with a walk back in the first inning. Joe Gardner, his first time starting a season in Lancaster. First time we've had somebody not named Brian Evans start on opening night since 2014. And Gardner, after that first batter home run, has looked magnificent. Maybe 3 more batters to settle in. Casilla robbed by Galen and Burgess with the walk. But the last 8 batters, Gardner his own. Swing and a miss by Burgess. No balls and a strike. Next pitch knocks Burgess back off the plate. We go to 1-1. We talk about the disbanding of the Bridgeport Bluefish. A lot of those players still in the league. York definitely made hay out of the dispersal draft. Frank DiGiulio, Zach Groats, Dominic Severino, and Jose Cuevas all here. Burgess with a fly ball very foul the other way over the third base seats. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now, the Barnstormers were only able to sign 1 out of the 3. Jonathan Albaladejo, tomorrow night starter, former Atlantic League Pitcher of the Year. If you're going to sign just 1, sign a guy who was Pitcher of the Year 2 years ago. But neither Chris Rierick nor Andrew Lambo playing in the Atlantic League. We weren't able to reel those guys in. I think Lambo would have especially been a very good fit at Clipper Magazine Stadium. Breaking ball is low, 2-2. But if you have Lambo, then there's probably no need at that point for a Joey Trdoslavich or a Kyle Waldrop. So over the long haul, the Barnstormers may end up even better. Here's a 2-2. Burgess lets it go. Ball 3 in the dirt. Gardner risks walking Burgess for a second time. Slugging Zach Wilson waits on deck. Gardner through 3 1/3 has given up just 1 hit, the leadoff home run. He has walked 1 and he has struck out 5. 3 balls, 2 strikes with 1 out. Shift still on. The breaking ball misses. It got close, but not quite there. Trying to reach the outside corner was Gardner. 2 walks for Burgess tonight. 1 out and a man on for York. Zach Wilson, the first baseman, checking in. With the Road Warriors, just to continue that thought, of course, they're called the Road Warriors for a reason. They play every game on the road. Well, the Barnstormers and everybody else in the Atlantic League this year, except for the Road Warriors, will play 72 games at home and 54 on the road. But not everybody plays the Road Warriors 18 times. Because of the situation with Sugarland, the Road Warriors will travel there twice for 7-game series and play 4 of the teams in the league 19 times to make up for that. Fly ball out the left, and Trayvon Robinson cannot see it out there against the lights of the stadium. The ball falls in front of him, and runners will end up at second and third. It is that tricky time of twilight and you knew immediately that Trayvon was in trouble. And the worst part about it was the ball was hit right at him. If he had picked it up at any point, he makes the catch. He didn't have to move, but at the last second, the ball kind of startled him. He stepped back, and the ball fell right in front of his feet. So it's a bloop double for Zach Wilson. Burgess on to third, Wilson in at second. And that's a play where we once saw Wilson Valdez in a similar situation here against the Barnstormers sprint out there, realize his left fielder was in trouble. I think it was Ferdinand, and actually make the catch on that play. It wasn't a very deep fly ball. That Robinson was in trouble right from the get-go. He had no idea where that ball was. So that'll bring on Ruby Silva, who hit a tapper to the first base side of the mound for the first out back in the second inning. And now, all of a sudden, Joe Gardner is in trouble. After retiring 8 in a row, a walk, and then a double lost in the lights by Zach Wilson. Ball one is inside and low to Silva. Ryan Dent waits on deck. This is the time of night on a day that has largely been clear. You will see that happen most often. And Trayvon Robinson is the victim. Breaking ball swung on and fouled at the plate. Silva batting at a ball and a strike. Silva, before bouncing back toward the hill in that second inning, hit a vicious line drive, barely foul down the third baseline. Gardner pitching to him. 1 ball, 1 strike. First base open. The Barnstormers with a 2-run lead have the infielders back. They'll let Burgess score. 1 ball, 1 strike to Silva. It's over his head and actually grazed his helmet on the way through, and that will load the bases. Silva wasn't even sure, nor was the base runner Burgess, and it actually costs a run, but it does add a base runner. It grazed off the very crown of Ruby Silva's helmet. Mark Mason is going to come out and ask Derek Moshe if he's sure, but it certainly looked that way from here. So, as it would appear right now, the bases will be loaded with 1 out for Dent. And now there's going to be a conference. Moshe calling Mike Williams over. That the third base umpire, the guy you'd appeal to with a left-handed batter on a check swing, might have had a different look. And we're still in limbo. Silva has his bat in the on-deck circle. He is getting to rub it up. But because the plate umpire had called it a dead ball, Burgess gets waved back to third base. So York loses out on both counts. The only thing they have is Silva still to be able to take a turn at the plate. An interesting turn of events. Gardner simply had a pitch get away and rode it high and inside to Silva. And now I guess if they called it a foul ball, maybe they've called it a foul ball. They see a second strike up on the board. So that makes even more sense now. It hit actually the bat as he was trying to get out of the way and not the crown of his helmet. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and the pitch. Check swing. Did he go? Mike Williams says yes. Strike 3. So a huge turn of events benefiting the Barnstormers as Gardner chalks up strikeout number 6. The ball, the helmet, the bat all kind of arriving at the same time. Burgess was charging toward the plate. You had Silva at first taking first base, then looking back, then the conference, and ultimately they ruled it a foul ball and eventually a strikeout. Now it's runners at second and third with 2 gone. Ryan Dent coming to the plate, and Ross Peoples is going to take the first of the 3 allowed timeouts for the Barnstormers. Major League Baseball giving 6. I think more counts as timeouts in Major League Baseball among the 6 than the 3 they're granted here in the Atlantic League, but no longer can you make a mound visit an inning in either case, whether you're the manager or the catcher. The whole intent is to keep the ball game going. Well, Silva has struck out. Here is Dent, a strikeout victim back in the second inning. 3-1 Barnstormers, tying runs out there. Second and third, 2 gone. Breaking ball is roped to left center field. Way back it goes, and the walls will not contain it. Ryan Dent somehow finds a way to do it to the Barnstormers again. It is York's second home run of the ball game, and the Revs now have grabbed the 4-3 lead. Dent, not the guy you would generally expect that result out of. He hit 5 home runs a year ago. But what set all of this up was the fly ball getting lost in the twilight. Gardner would have been out of the inning, and if Dent hits the home run, it would have come leading off the 5th, and it meant nothing. Well, Tyler Clark will step in. Clark, a strikeout victim. He went down looking back in the second inning. York 4, the Barnstormers 3, the Revolution, a home run hitting ball club. And we've seen it here, especially in this ballpark in spring training, and we get it again tonight. That spring training game, I believe it was 9 out of their 10 runs on the long ball, all 4 runs tonight. Here's the delivery. Clark takes a pitch low. It is 1-1, much more like what you would see in the major leagues these days. A lot of strikeouts and a lot of home runs. That's the way York plays it. The Barnstormers playing smaller baseball. Swinging a foul the other way by Clark. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So you had the conference at the mound. Ross Peoples going out to speak with Joe Gardner, and the very next pitch is crushed, in this case, just to the left of the batter's eye. Gardner brings it home and angles it low. Clark batting at 2-2. The Barnstormers don't have anyone throwing as of yet. But it looks like there's some, at least, activity down that way. Breaking ball, swing and a miss by Clark. He got fooled. So Gardner strikes out the side in the inning. He's fan 7, but the long ball is biting him, and York takes the lead. 3 runs on 2 hits, no errors, nobody left on base. Ryan Dent with a 3-run blast to left center field. And now as we've closed out the 4th inning, it is York 4 and the Barnstormers 3.
Localflavor.com, local flavor, localflavor.com, local flavor.
Excuse me, are you saying localflavor.com?
Oh, yeah, it's where I save big bucks on all kinds of things. Home improvement projects, dining out, family fun, electronics, jewelry, clothing. I even bought my wife a fancy spa package for half price.
Half price?
Yep, you know all the deals you find in Clipper Magazine.
I love Clipper Magazine.
Well, they're all on localflavor.com too. And you can get them right on your phone thanks to localflavor.com's mobile app. Here, take a look.
Well, this app is amazing. Look at all these restaurants, amusement parks, car washes, fitness centers. This is worth sharing about.
Exactly. Localflavor.com online, the Local Flavor mobile app, and Clipper Magazine together. It's like a triple play.
Do the cheer again. I'm in.
Localflavor.com. Local Flavor. Come on, everybody. Localflavor.com. Local Flavor. Localflavor.com. Local flavor.
Pitching change for the York Revolution. It is Joe Van Meter coming on here in the 5th inning. He'll be facing Tyler Bortnick, Blake Galen, and Joey Turdoslavich. Jay Gauss went the first 4. He gave up 4 hits, 3 runs. All were earned. He walked 2, struck out 3, hit a batter, but served up 4 wild pitches. That was the downfall for Gauss. On Gardner's side, it's simply been the 2 home run balls. First pitch strike from Van Meter to Bortnick. Joe Van Meter didn't have a great first half last year, really came on strong in the second half of the season. Right-hander from Richmond, Virginia, 29 years of age, 6'2", 215-pounder. Chopper foul off the bat of Bortnick. It is 0-2 overall. Van Meter 4-2 with a 2.57 ERA in 55 appearances. Struck out 64 in 63 innings. The Barnstormers now forced to come back against the York bullpen. Revs up by the 4-3 score. Bortnick checks a swing, pitch in the dirt, getting away from Clark. Tyler has been getting a nasty workout back there this evening. He's getting pieces of these balls in the dirt. They're not getting cleanly through, but he's had a miserable time so far trying to stop them. This one to no harm with the bases empty. 1-2. Bortnick swings and misses with the high fastball. Second time Tyler is struck out in the ball game. 1 out in the 5th inning. Blake Galen stepping in. Galen with a single up the middle and a line out to right field. 1 out of 2 so far tonight. One out, nobody on, top of the 5th. The Barnstormers have trailed by a run twice now as the result of the home run balls. Swinging a drive out towards center field by Galen. Easy play for Travis Witherspoon. 2 up and 2 down, bringing on Joey Turdoslavich. He's 1 for 2, a single and a fly out the left field.
First baseman, number 14, Joey Turdoslavich.
The motion by Van Meter. Pitch actually runs away from the plate. Turned it over a little bit, it appeared. Ball 1, no strikes on the switch hitting Turdoslavich. Barnstormers, by the way, have 6 switch hitters. They'll try to defend that and all the speed. Swing and a miss. It is 1-1. It's a strategical boon. If you're Ross Peoples, you can pull out a lot of stops. He also happens to have right now 14 position players. So there is a bench to go to. Swing and a miss again. Van Meter coming up and in. 1 ball and 2 strikes from the right-hander. Joe Van Meter, formerly property of the Texas Rangers, and for a very short period of time, the Baltimore Orioles. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Turdoslavich, a swing and a miss. Van Meter fans 2 in a very quick top half of the 5th inning. Nothing across for the Barnstormers. We're at the end of 4 1/2 innings with the score, the York Revolution 4 and the Lancaster Barnstormers 3.
We can't help but always want more, especially on the road. More horsepower, heightened handling, elevated design. Get more out of your drive with a Lexus IS. Bold styling, track-tuned handling, available 311 horsepower. Experience the exhilaration of the IS 350 and IS 300. Available in F-Sport and all-wheel drive. See Bobby Rahal Lexus in Mechanicsburg.
Enjoy weekends with the Barnstormers all season long. Every Friday evening home game will feature a different giveaway ranging from t-shirts to beach towels to backpacks. On Saturdays, enjoy the best entertainment doubleheader there is with Barnstormers baseball followed by fireworks. Sundays are fun days at the ballpark. Get autographs from some of your favorite Barnstormers players and play catch on the field before the game. Once the game is over, it's a Domino's Pizza Kids base run. Call 717-509-HITS to order your tickets or go to LancasterBarnstormers.com. And we'll see you at the ballpark.
All your landscaping needs. Now batting for the York Revolution.
Joe Gardner remains in the game. He will face Travis Witherspoon to start off the home half of the fifth inning. Witherspoon down swinging back in the third. Gardner has recorded 7 strikeouts. He's only allowed 3 hits. But of those 3 hits, a double and 2 home runs. The double was an accident. First pitch is high to Witherspoon. Ball 1 and no strikes. Action has begun, or will begin very, very shortly down in the Barnstormers bullpen. 1-0 to Witherspoon. The pitch, line drive just past the lunging effort of Tyler Bortnick and into left field. A leadoff base hit here in the 5th inning. That is 4 hits now off Gardner. Here's Jared Mitchell as a home run and a routine fly ball to center. Around the major leagues, Phillies lost today to the Arizona Diamondbacks 8-2. Well, this season has either gotten off to very good starts or very bad starts for most major league teams. I mean, I remember years that most clubs by now would either have or would have both double-digit wins and double-digit losses, but it seems for most of these teams to be one or the other. Diamondbacks and Phillies on the upside. The D-backs won today 8-2. Another couple of ball clubs who were both off to very good starts. The Mets and the Cardinals. The Cards won today in 13 innings, 4-3. White toss over to first base. Witherspoon, who grabbed 19 bases last year, is back. Atlanta 7-4 over Cincinnati. The Reds off to an absolutely dreadful start at 5-20. Pirates shut out the Tigers 1-0. Those 2 ball clubs are 2 of the rare teams in the middle. The Yankees 4-3 over the Twins. Yankees going to 15-9. Minnesota got off to a good start, but the Twins have fallen in a hurry. Witherspoon again out to a lead. Mitchell is yet to see a pitch. He will hear it's low. Ball 1, no strikes with the runner at first. Games in progress on this Thursday evening. They're in the top of the 8th inning in Cleveland. Mariners and Indians tied at 4, and probably almost everyone in that crowd was tuned into the NFL draft and not the baseball game. Baker Mayfield going first to the Cleveland Browns. All the thinking it would be Darnold or Josh Allen, possibly Bradley Chubb, possibly Saquon Barkley. But at the very end, and I heard this around the stadium today, talking to the sports guys from the various stations, they were all here. It seemed that at the very last second, Mayfield was the guy who stepped to the forefront, and that's the man that the Cleveland Browns are going to count on to lead them into the future. He is exciting. He's mercurial. They have to hope he's not another Johnny Manziel. There are some indications that he might be, and some indications that he's going to be anything but Johnny Manziel. Jared Mitchell batting here, 2 balls and a strike, 4-3 York. Bottom of the 5th inning, Witherspoon on to lead off the frame. Jared Lakin, the left-hander, warming up in the Lancaster bullpen. Quick toss over to first base. Witherspoon dives back in. Tampa Bay leading Baltimore tonight 6-2 in the bottom half of the fourth inning. Absolutely nothing going right this year for the Orioles. Blue Jays over the Red Sox 3-2. That's in the fifth inning in Toronto. No ice falling off of the CN Tower tonight. Runner goes, pitches a ball inside, and dancing down to second base is Witherspoon on the steal. No throw made by Anderson De La Rosa. Runner into scoring position. Barnstormers have stolen one already tonight. It's going to be interesting to see how many bases the Barnstormers are going to be able to steal over the course of this year. But I don't know if this team's going to be able to score runs in clusters late in the game like last year's team did. Out the center, sinking quickly. Here comes Sanford. He lunges, makes the catch, and Witherspoon with the presence of mind to hang around second base. He is not doubled off there. Nice play made by Darian Sanford. That speed out in center, paying off for the Barnstormers. One away. Mitchell comes up just short of the base hit as Sanford races in. He actually stayed on his feet, though lunging forward and making the catch off his shoelaces. One away. Alexi Casilla, the batter, is lined out to right field on a spectacular grab by Blake Galen. And the last time up, he rolled out to the first baseman, Terdoslavich. Witherspoon, the runner at second, one out. Casilla batting, Cuevas on deck. The Barnstormers trying to get Gardner through 5 innings. First pitch in for a strike out of the outside corner to Casilla. It's 0-1. I was told that Joe would throw about 75 pitches tonight. And I have him closing in on that number, but we'll see if he gets through this 5th inning. I have him at 72, and with all the technical issues that we had earlier, I might be a couple short. Swing and a miss. No balls, 2 strikes. The count on Casilla. Barnstormers have shown some great glove work in the outfield tonight on the parts of Galen and Sanford. There was that costly play last inning, but there's just nothing you can do about that. You get those high fly balls at that perfect time of twilight. They can so easily get lost. And it set up that 3-run inning. Ground ball to the second baseman, Noel. Rico surrounds it, throws on, second out of the inning. That ground ball does move Witherspoon up the third. With 2 away, Jose Cuevas is the batter. He is responsible for 2 of Joe Gardner's 7 strikeouts. Cuevas has been a very solid player for the Bridgeport Bluefish the past couple of years. 286 and 279 respectively. Right-handed batter, plays the corners in the infield. They've got him over at third base tonight, does Mark Mason. Witherspoon up the line from third with 2 outs. Pitch spins to the outside corner. That one moved quite a bit. Cuevas, in his mind, thought a bit too much. He checked back with the plate umpire, Derek Moshe. No balls, 1 strike. Cuevas played to pull. Sanford well over toward left center field. Here's the pitch. That bends to the outside corner as well. And Cuevas stands hands on hips. Again, looking back at the home plate umpire. Gardner has him set up. No balls, 2 strikes. York leading by a run on the 2 long balls. The Barnstormers pieced together 2 walks, a double, and 3 wild pitches to score their 3 runs in the second inning. Outside, Gardner tried to stretch the strike zone, but he broke the rubber band with that pitch. It was too far outside for Moshe to contemplate calling a 3rd straight strike. Single, a stolen base, and a ground out. Have Witherspoon at third base. He's there with 2 gone. Noel Polanco walks over, gives Witherspoon some instruction. Barnstormers without a base hit since the infield single by Kyle Waldrop back in the third inning. A combination of Gauss and Van Meter going the last 2 1/3. Here's a 1-2. Cuevas pops this up. Shallow right. Backpedaling is Terdoslavich. He'll concede it to Noel. Rico with the catch right on the edge of the outfield grass. That'll do it for York in the 5th. Gardner survives after the leadoff single. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. Witherspoon stranded at 3rd. We are through 5 innings tonight here at Peoples Bank Park. The score, the York Revolution 4 and the Lancaster Barnstormers 3.
Okay, John, shelves are stocked.
So are the new Fast Play games from the Pennsylvania Lottery. Just pick your game, get your ticket, and see if you've won.
Like $20 on the spot, loaded with $20 prizes.
Yep, winning's never been faster.
Not faster than me clearing these shelves.
Dude, I hope you're even faster at restocking.
Yeah.
Fast Play. Play fast, win instantly. The Pennsylvania Lottery. Players must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly. Benefits older Pennsylvanians every day.
Enjoy a weeknight with the Barnstormers and leave with your wallet largely intact. Come on out on Munchie Mondays for all you can eat nachos, dogs, fries, popcorn, and soda for 2 hours. Or how about Koozie Tuesdays, where fans of legal age can enjoy $2 domestic drafts from 6:30 to 8. Bring your dog on Wiener Wednesdays and enjoy delicious dollar dogs as well. Or on Thrifty Thursday, popcorn is just $1, sodas are $2, and lawn seats are only $3. Call 717-509-HITS to order your tickets or go to LancasterBarnstormers.com. And we'll see you at the ballpark. Kyle Waldrop leads off the Barnstormers half of the 6th. Joe Van Meter will stay out for a 2nd inning. Van Meter, a guy that could possibly jump into the starting rotation at some point for York. He started 1 game last year, and that was against us. Waldrop will be followed by Robinson and De La Rosa. Here in the top half of the 6th inning, the Barnstormers still trying to make up a 1-run deficit. Lancaster carried a 3-1 lead for about 2.5 innings. So difficult coming off the spring training camp for the hitters to get into a rhythm. They only faced Atlantic League caliber pitching for 2 games. First pitch strike from Van Meter to Waldrop. It is 0-1. Whereas York played 6 games against Atlantic League opponents. They played Southern Maryland and Somerset twice each also. Little ground ball at the second baseman, Casilla. Easy play. Waldrop's retired. 6 in a row set down by York pitching since Vladimir Frias was hit by a pitch in the foot back in the 4th inning. Here's Trayvon. Robinson is 0 for 2. He has flied to left and he has struck out looking. Lancaster with 4 hits total. He only won for extra bases. The double by Darian Sanford back in the 2nd inning that produced 2 runs, and he would later score a 3rd on a wild pitch. Also got the 3rd on a wild pitch. The offering inside ball 1, 1-0 to Robinson. Van Meter tries to light up the outside corner. He misses, though. Robinson batting 2-0. We talked about how adept Trayvon became last year at drawing the base on balls. It hasn't always been the case for him. He feels that's an area in which he's greatly improved. And walks can be a weapon. 2 balls, no strikes. Van Meter is wide again, 3-0. And I would imagine you'll see Robinson taking a pitch here. Trayvon with a walk-off home run against the Revs last year, the Saturday night before the All-Star break. And it was those moments that kept the Barnstormers in the hunt going into the All-Star break last year in that second half, swinging a foul ball back. It is 3-1. A team short on players and just absolutely wasted from that final week trying to pull out the first half. And then they ran in to the two teams that will eventually win the second half the first week, and they had nothing left and somehow managed to go 3-4. Ball 4 is low to Robinson. The Barnstormers have a one-out base runner here in the sixth inning. Lancaster drawing walk number 3 tonight. Here is Anderson De La Rosa stepping in. De La Rosa has flied to right and to left in the ball game this evening. Robinson stole 17 last year, and that was without being healthy for a good part of the season. And he may be very interested in taking second base here. He stole more bases than anybody else during spring training, I believe. Sanford may have had as many by the end. Into the dirt for a ball. Trayvon really was trying to test those legs out. Ball 1 and no strikes. Lancaster needing a run to catch up to York. We are the only game in the Atlantic League tonight, by the way. Everybody else gets going tomorrow. Long Island taking on Southern Maryland and Waldorf. The Road Warriors are at Somerset. New Britain goes to Sugar Land. And it all gets going again. New managers in the league. We've got Pete Incaviglia down in Sugar Land. We've got Wally Backman now in New Britain as Stan Clyburn reteams with Butch Hobson out in Chicago with an American Association team in Rosemont, Illinois, just north of Chicago, is sort of near O'Hare Airport, as I recall. Swing and a miss by De La Rosa. 1 ball, 1 strike on Anderson. Trayvon Robinson represents the tying run at first base. He's there with 1 out. Mark Mason's still here in York. He took over for Andy Echebarren following the 2012 season. Another toss to first base, chases Robinson. And we'll still see Brett Jody and Kevin Baez. James Frisbee is full-time manager now after running Southern Maryland the second half last year, really the last third last year. Robinson starts, doesn't go, and De La Rosa hits a towering fly to shallow right center. Witherspoon there for the catch. That is out number 2. Those outfielders stay busy. But the Barnstormers really haven't been able to make any kind of solid contact. Frank DiGiulio Jr. now warming up in the bullpen for York. Vladimir Frias will step in. He has walked and been hit by a pitch. He has twice made it the second on wild pitches. He was right in the focal point of all the control issues that plagued starter Jay Gauss tonight. Robinson still at first base, now with 2 outs. Frias hit 5 home runs for the Barnstormers last year, all at home. There goes Robinson. The pitch is high. Clark in great position for the throw. It's not in time as the shortstop Dent had to swing the tag around. Trayvon Robinson into scoring position. It was close at second base. Clark with a perfect throw. Likely would have had Robinson, but the throw was ever so slightly, maybe 6 inches to a foot to the shortstop side of second base. And by the time Dent got the tag around, it was late. Robinson has the steal. It's the second of the game for Lancaster. 1 ball, no strikes to Frias, trying to drive in the tying run. The set, the pitch, wide of the plate for ball 2. The on-deck batter is the right-handed hitting second baseman, Rico Noel. Barnstormers now with 2 stolen bases. That might be a low total for this ball club in a game unless they get way behind early. 3-0 now as Frias is knocked back off the plate. Witherspoon cheating toward right center. Here's the 3-0. Frias takes ball 4 upstairs. I don't know that Van Meter really ever was inclined to pitch to Frias in that situation. He'll take his chances with Rico Noel. Noel has walked and struck out. We got Paul Fletcher, the pitching coach, paying a visit to the mound, so chalk that up as a timeout for the York Revolution. The Barnstormers have used one as well. First and second for the Barnstormers on the base on balls here in the 6th inning. Lancaster, a ball club, we saw this last year. They could draw a lot of walks. They could steal a lot of bases. It is going to be a question of whether or not this team can drive in the runs. And they should be able to in the middle of the order. Now you've got another setup type guy here, Enrico Noel, in a key situation. First and second, 2 outs. Top half of the 6th inning. Lovely night, by the way, here in York. Tomorrow may be a little chilly and damp. I think the rain's going to be out from what I heard. Called strike to Noel. Van Meter locating the range again. Vladimir Frias has to wonder what's going on. 2 walks and a hit by pitch. 0 for 0 for Frias. Here comes the 0-1. Noel takes high. 1 ball, 1 strike. And that guy, Darian Sanford, who has every Barnstormer RBI tonight, waits on deck. He's been involved in every run. He's driven in 2, the only 2 runs batted in, and he scored the other on a wild pitch. Rico batting at 1-1. Runners lead off first and second. Check swing, but Van Meter locates the inside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes, the count. York tonight 1 for 5 with runners in scoring position, but that was the Dent home run. The Barnstormers are also 1 for 5. The Sanford double, strike 3 called in at the knees on Noel. And the Barnstormers now 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position. No runs, no hits, no errors. Lancaster strands 2. We're in the middle of the 6th. York 4 and Lancaster 3.
Learn from the pros right here in Lancaster. The Lancaster Barnstormers are offering 2 3-day-long youth clinics this summer with instruction on pitching, hitting, fielding, and base running. Each session, led by veteran professional players, will last from 9 until noon with lunch to follow. Choose from June 19th to 21st or July 24th to 26th. So learn what it takes to succeed on the field and off. Call the Barnstormers office at 717-509-HITS or go to LancasterBarnstormers.com. Space is limited. Act now.
Introducing the all-new Lexus RX 350L, designed for room. Room for a power-folding 3rd row. Room for up to 7. And room for the unexpected. The 3-row RXL. It's the RX with room for more. Experience the innovative RXL and RXL Hybrid. See Bobby Rahal Lexus in Mechanicsburg.
RX 450HL arriving spring 2018.
Joe Gardner now out of the ball game for the Barnstormers, and if you look at 4 runs in 5 innings, sort of really takes away from what Gardner did tonight. He struck out 7. He only gave up 4 hits. His WHIP will look just fine for a starting pitcher. 7 strikeouts, but the home runs hurt him. He gave up the leadoff shot to Jared Mitchell and a really painful 3-run blast to Ryan Dent back in the 4th inning. An inning kept alive, and this you will not see in the box score, but the double that set that inning up was a routine fly ball that simply got lost in the twilight. So you take that out of the picture, even give Dent the leadoff home run in the 5th inning, and Gardner goes 5 innings on 3 hits and 2 runs, and he's in the lead in this ball game. So a bit of a tough break for Gardner. Just gave up that fly ball at the worst possible instant of the night. Jared Lakin now into the ball game for the Barnstormers. Left-hander deals a strike to Michael Burgess leading off here in the home half of the 6th inning. It's 0-1. Jared Lakin, a left-hander out of the Pittsburgh Pirates organization. He signed as a first baseman and just didn't hit very well in the lower rungs of the organization. This guy's got a nice arm, though. Swinging a foul ball back. Burgess batting at no balls and 2 strikes. Lakin, 2 years ago, had an outstanding season to our west with the Altoona Curve. 5-1 in 47 appearances. He saved 7 games. He had a 2.59 ERA. Gave up only 50 hits in 66 innings. Struck out 62. Walked 28 to Burgess. 0-2. Breaking ball, swing and a miss. Michael Burgess, who had walked twice and scored once against Gardner, succumbs on strikes to Lakin, 1 away. And Zach Wilson will come to the plate. Wilson 1 for 2. It's his fly ball out the left field in the 4th inning that landed right at the feet of Trayvon Robinson, who never saw it off the bat. He knew it was headed his way. He was pleading for help. You could see it. Arms thrown out wide. Somebody please bail me out on this. I have no idea where that ball is. And if he hadn't stepped back at the last second, I truly believe it would have landed on his head. Called strike to Wilson on a breaking ball. It is 0-1. Wilson is hit into a force play and has that double. Jared Lakin, a left-hander from the Houston area, Cypress, Texas, with a fastball swing and a miss. No balls and 2 strikes. I am impressed by this young man. Time will tell. He is 26 years of age, turned 26 a month and a half ago. 6'2", 205-pounder. And the offering, swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts for Lakin. And he's done it on only 6 pitches. There was a major leaguer the other day I read who had a clean inning, but a 9-pitch, 3-strikeout inning. But it's not dawning on me at the moment who that was. They're very, very rare in these days of waste pitches and setting up hitters. Ruby Silva coming to the plate. He is grounded out softly back to the mound, and he is struck out. Lakin is ready to go. First pitch, and he finally misses. Ball 1 high and outside to Silva. Ruby Silva, born in Cuba, lives in Miami. 2 outs, nobody on. Lakin ready to go. Breaking ball, ground ball down the first base line. Speared by Terzaslovic. He's got a underhand quickly to Lakin, who wins the foot race by maybe a step at best against Ruby Silva. 3-1 on the conversion, nothing across. Jared Lakin with a nice inning in the bottom half of the 6th, keeping York's lead at just 1 and a 6. Revs 4, Barnstormers 3.
Like craft beers, local wines? Well, the best place to be in Lancaster then is Clipper Magazine Stadium. That's right, all new for 2018 is the Broken Bat deck down the right field line. The Broken Bat will feature more than 20 local craft breweries and product from 2 local wineries. If something with a little more kick is your adult beverage of choice, a local distillery is part of the Broken Bat as well. Food will be sold off a pub-style menu, so get together, hang out with your friends, make some new ones, and enjoy a night of craft beer sampling along with a Barnstormers game.
AMT Concerts presents Rock at the Park Festival, Saturday, July 21st, featuring sets from Fuel, Eve 6, Sister Hazel, Long Beach Dub All-Stars, Fastball, and more. Rock at the Park, Saturday, July 21st, at Clipper Magazine Stadium, Lancaster. Tickets on sale now at rockatthepark.com.
The Barnstormers get the top of the order up here in the 7th inning, and they will be facing one-time Long Island Duck, one-time Bridgeport Bluefish right-hander Frank DiGiulio Jr. making his debut for the York Revolution, a 28-year-old rather, from Florida, 6'3" and 210 pounds. Top of the order, Sanford, Bortnick, and Galen in the 7th. The Barnstormers down by just that mere run. First pitch is outside to Sanford, and DiGiulio certainly doesn't want to start off his York career by missing with pitches to Darian Sanford and putting perhaps the premier base stealer in the Atlantic League. I would venture to say he is on base to start the inning. He catches the outside corner with a strike called. It's 1-1. DiGiulio in his 4th season in the league. 5-1 record in 62 appearances with Long Island, 6-5 in 65 appearances with Bridgeport. Jesus Sanchez now warming up for the Barnstormers. Ball 2 is high to Sanford. 2 balls and 1 strike. 11-6 with a 3.14 ERA overall for Frank DiGiulio Jr., a one-time farmhand of the Los Angeles Angels, although not for terribly long, just a couple of seasons there. 2 balls, 1 strike to Sanford. Here is the pitch. Strike 2, fired onto the outside corner with a fastball. 2-2. Just 4 hits apiece. The difference, the long balls. For the York Revolution, they have 2. The Barnstormers have a 2-run double for Sanford. He's just trying to get on base any way he can. Along with the double, he has popped the short, and he has grounded out right to the second baseman, Casilla. The Barnstormers' last hit, an infield single by Kyle Waldrop back in the 3rd inning. Joe Van Meter worked 2. He walked 2, struck out 3, did not allow a base hit. And right now, I suppose Van Meter would be in line for the win here if everybody else for York throws 1 inning. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Sanford, and we've got a delay in the ball game. And I believe the reason for that is that there is a motor vehicle out beyond the center field wall. The center field wall is a fence that you can actually see light through. It is not completely opaque, and the headlights of the vehicle pulled down the drive in center field are actually shining right in the face of Darian Sanford. So Travis Witherspoon yells through the gate asking the driver to please turn those headlights off and we can get going again. That's not only the case here, it's also the case in Southern Maryland. You can see through the center field fence as well. It's not completely opaque, a little bit of a mesh material. 2-2, and Sanford swings and misses. He goes down on strikes. That is 7 total strikeouts for the York pitching staff tonight. Barnstormers hurlers have fanned 9. With 1 away, here is Tyler Bortnick. Rough start for Tyler. He has struck out twice and flied to center. Bortnick was swinging the bat very well during spring training. He and Vladimir Frias, I thought, were the most consistent Barnstormers during the 5 spring games. Here's the pitch to Tyler. It stays high. Ball 1, no strikes. But again, it's so difficult to tell exactly what you were watching during spring training. And I'm not sure that the schedule benefited the Barnstormers. They haven't seen Atlantic League caliber pitching now in a week. And when they did, they were playing in a 36-degree wind chill. Ball 2 is inside to Bortnick, 2-0. DeJulio fires, and it's fouled straight back. Good-looking swing for Bortnick there. 2-1. So I wonder what Tyler Bortnick thinks about Baker Mayfield being the first pick in the draft. Tyler, a diehard Browns fan from Mentor, Ohio, just outside of Cleveland. 2 balls, 1 strike. DeJulio ready to bring it home, and strike 2 is recorded on the inside corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes. We've seen Cuevas wince at some calls on the outside corner. We've seen a couple Barnstormers tonight, most notably Trayvon Robinson back in the 3rd inning. Wince, in his case, a called 3rd strike on the inside corner. Now it's 2-2 on Bortnick. The pitch down and away, held on the swing. The appeal down to Calvin Baker is denied. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Bortnick. Blake Galen waiting on deck. Lancaster down 4-3 here in the 7th. 4 runs, 4 hits, no errors, just 2 left for York. Barnstormers with 3 runs, 4 hits, no errors, and 6 stranded. The Bortnick swing, fly ball toward the wall and left, but that one is going to hook foul and on into the night. He may or may not have had enough distance on that. It would have been close had he straightened it out. But just a foul ball, just a long foul ball. It looped over the back of the concourse back there. 3 balls, 2 strikes with 1 away. The pitch from DeJulio fouled away, this time to the right. The count continuing at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Barnstormers pitching tonight has looked good, but the home runs have plagued the Barnstormers in this ballpark last year and now at the start of this year. Bortnick gets ball 4 down low. There's another walk. Lancaster has drawn 5. 1 out runner, and you may look for Bortnick to try and go. 11 stolen bases for Bortnick a season ago with the Patriots, but he was only there about 2/3 of a year. I think I gave you the wrong organization that he went to. Robert Carson, a left-hander, by the way, now warming up for York. He went to the Milwaukee Brewers. I think I said Seattle. It was Milwaukee. He went to Seattle from the Barnstormers back in 15. Ball 1 is outside of Galen, 1-0. Bortnick did come back to Somerset at the end of the year. But he has a 43 steal season in his background. Ball 2 now down and away to Galen. Trdoslavich waits on deck. Walder, a pure left-handed batter after that. Trdoslavich, a switch hitter. They have the left-hander Carson warming up in the bullpen. They also have Luke Westfall out there as a lefty. Galen pulls a weak grounder foul over toward the Revolution dugout. 2 balls and a strike on Blake. 1 out of 3. He's gotten the ball to the outfield every time. Soft liners to center and right field and a single up the middle. Two-1. And DeJulio finds the range. It looked like he took a bit off of that. Called second strike. It is 2-2. Galen in his career, 12 home runs, 39 runs batted in, and a .306 batting average against York. That's in the regular season. 2-2, up and away, filling out the count. Barnstormers have seen 18 pitches now from DeJulio this half inning, and not one has been put in play. Galen batting 3-2. You have to be tempted to start Bortnick here. DeJulio ready to go. Bortnick does go. The payoff pitch is beaten over toward first base. same result that would have happened had Bortnick not been going. The play only could go to first. Bortnick on to second base with 2 outs, and it will be up to Joey Turdoslavich to try and tie up the ball game tonight. Turdoslavich 1 for 3. Single up the middle, back in the first inning. This was the last signing for the Barnstormers, if you don't include Matt Hibbert, who did make the ball club, but wasn't signed to a contract until yesterday. But Turdoslavich was the last guy brought in, be a key element. He had some terrific seasons coming up in the Atlanta organization. 2 years ago, the Orioles had him in the minor leagues, and last year it was the Pirates. He was at Indianapolis in AAA. Ground ball the other way. The shortstop Dent going after it, and he'll fire across to retire Turdoslavich. Bortnick did his best to try and screen the runner, or screen the fielder there, but it didn't work. Dent with the clean play. No runs, no hits, no errors. The Barnstormers leave the tying run in scoring position. It is time for the stretch here at Peoples Bank Park. The score, York 4 and Lancaster 3.
Fans, it's that time of the game where we all stand up and stretch it out. Eric is
You're totally probably safe to ride on your spare for what, 6, maybe 9 months?
Don't trust the wrong advice. Get the right tires at the right price right away. It's what we've been doing at Jack Williams Tire right here in Pennsylvania since our family started this business back in 1929. Because doing things the right way is just the Williams way. Get the right tires right now at jackwilliams.com.
Lancaster Bible College has been around since 1933, but did you know that they offer degrees in much more than just Bible? LBC offers degrees in criminal justice, business, professional counseling, and more, as well as graduate and seminary degrees in areas like Christian care, chaplaincy, education, and leadership studies. To learn more about LBC and the programs they offer, visit lbc.edu. That's lbc.edu. Very impressive Atlantic League debut for Jared Lakin. 2 strikeouts and a 3-1 ground out against the heart of the York batting order in the bottom of the 6th inning. And now we get our first regular season look at right-hander Jesus Sanchez. We talked about Lakin being a converted first baseman. Well, Sanchez is a converted catcher, signed as a catcher with the New York Yankees back in 2006, and then he was with the Phillies for a couple of seasons as a catcher. That's where he began the conversion of the mound, and his first year on the hill was a rousing success with the Lakewood Blue Claws. Back in 2009, Sanchez was 10-6 in 26 starts with a 3.44 ERA, walked 42, struck out 120. Now, he has not pitched in the U.S. since 14. He's been working briefly in Mexico in 16, but pitching every winter in his native Venezuela. And I say native because he is now a resident of Texas. He lives in Waxahachie, which is somewhere in the general vicinity of Dallas, I guess. At least that's where he flew out of to come here. Ball 2 is low. 2 balls, no strikes to Ryan Dent, who has the biggest hit of the ball game, a 3-run homer back in the 4th inning. Just to the left of the batter's eye. Man who hit just 5 home runs last year. One of those against the Barnstormers, but he did drive in 11 in the season series last year. 2 balls and nothing from Sanchez. Here's the pitch, a swing and a miss. 2 balls and a strike. When Sanchez last pitched in the U.S., he was in AAA with the Miami Marlins back in 2014. No wins and 5 losses there. He had a brilliant year, though, in 2012 between AA and AAA with the Milwaukee Brewers. He was stellar, swing and a miss. So he has battled back to 2 balls and 2 strikes against Dent. In that year, he had 1 stretch of 24 1/3 consecutive scoreless innings. His combined ERA that year somewhere in the 1.6 range. Ball 3 is low. Between 1.6 and 1.65. Went 7-3, saved 11 games. Sanchez working. Johnny Anderson warming up in the bullpen. Payoff pitch is due to Ryan Dent. Sanchez ready to go. The 3-2 is stroked out the center. Back goes Sanford. He'll be there to make the catch. Well hit again by Ryan Dent. However, this one within the scope of Darian Sanford, who just scooted back a few paces to latch on. 1 man down, and here is the switch hitting catcher, Tyler Clark. Clark has struck out his 2 plate appearances tonight. Sanchez is 30 years of age, 5'11", and 210 pounds. In the Venezuelan Winter League, he's had a pretty decent career, 8-3 with a 3.80 ERA, swing and a miss, no balls and a strike. And this past winter, he pitched 28 games in relief for Lara, Los Cardinales, 1-0 with a 3.23 ERA. 0-1. Clark has to turn out of the way. The pitch is inside for a ball. Now 1-1. Travis Witherspoon, the center fielder, waiting on deck. The Barnstormers only have 2 chances left to make up this run. They'll get Waldrop, Robinson, and De La Rosa to the plate in the 8th inning. Swing and a miss by Clark. It is 1 ball and 2 strikes. And we'll see if the Barnstormers' speed game comes into play. Here's the wind. Sanchez, 1-2. That's strike 3 on the outside corner. The 10th strikeout recorded by Barnstormers pitching tonight. Lancaster a year ago struck out 10 or more, it seemed like, every other game, at least through the first part of the season. And they did it regularly whenever they played York or New Britain. Not so much Somerset or Bridgeport. Breaking ball, staying inside to Witherspoon. Might have been a little bit low. Ball 1-0. Travis Witherspoon tonight, a strikeout and a single. The only single for York. That is low, 2-0. York with a bloop double, lost in the twilight double, and 2 home runs. The Barnstormers with 3 singles, a double, and an assortment of York control problems. Fastball lights up the outside corner, now 2-1. Now, the Barnstormers have benefited from 5 walks, a hit batter, and 4 wild pitches in the game. But they haven't been able to drive the ball very well and knock in the runs, save for the Sanford double back in the 2nd inning. Just outside for ball 3 on Witherspoon. Sanchez seemed to indicate with his body language that he wanted it. Now 3 balls and a strike to a guy you simply don't want to put on base. Jared Mitchell, who's had a very nice-looking game at the plate. 1 hit to show for it. Waits on deck. 3-1 offering. Angles back to the inside corner. Witherspoon was turning out of the way. A knee-buckling breaking ball from Jesus Sanchez. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. No base runners to concern ourselves with. Here's the motion and the payoff. Breaking ball, wafted foul down the right field line. That will Twist on out of play. And we will stay at 3-2. Anderson loosening up for the Barnstormers, and Ross could go to him if Witherspoon reaches base with the lefty batting Mitchell on deck, but Mitchell can hit left-handers. So it's not a move you're necessarily going to make. Here's the payoff pitch, driven foul to the right again. Sanchez and Witherspoon stay locked in battle. The Barnstormers over the last few years have had a really hard time getting to York's bullpen, and it's been the case again tonight. Lancaster does just fine against the Revs' starting pitchers. And Witherspoon double checks, and his bat cracked on that last swing. Now he's headed back to the dugout for New Lumber. Once or twice last year, the Barnstormers were able to get some runs against the York bullpen, especially in the second half of the season. Barnstormers last year, the best late-inning team our franchise has ever had. And some of those dramatic hits, Sanford and Halton, and in one or two cases, Robinson, Garrett Weber, Caleb Gindel. It just went on and on and on last year, more than any other team in Barnstormers history. They need to do it again here tonight. Slice down the right field line, racing over Galen. He won't get to this one. It takes a funny little hop. Witherspoon thinks about going to second, but Galen not only stays with that bounce, reacting to it beautifully, but pegs perfectly on one hop to Frias, covering second. Witherspoon a wide turn at first, holds on. An insurance run aboard here in the seventh inning for York. Jared Mitchell coming to the plate. Ross Peoples headed to the mound. We expected this might be the case with Anderson warming up in the bullpen. Peoples has not signaled to the pen yet. Trying to catch the eye of the third base umpire, Mike Williams. And he is going to go that route. Sanchez will come out after 2/3 of an inning. And now Johnny Anderson, the winning pitcher in the season finale last year, is entering the ball game to counter Jared Mitchell. We've got a pitching change. We're going to take a break and pause for these messages.
The history of our national pastime at the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum in Cooperstown. See priceless treasures that will bring your baseball memories to life. Cooperstown is where you, your family, and your friends can relive baseball's greatest moments and honor the all-time greats of the game. Plan your family visit today at baseballhall.org.
Silicon, microprocessors, and thousands of lines of code. Raw elements transformed into innovation by Lexus. For a limited time, experience advanced safety technology for yourself at the Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event. But hurry, these offers won't last. Now through September 5th. See Bobby Rahal Lexus in Mechanicsburg.
Left-hander John Anderson, who got a haircut from Blake Galen earlier today, is on the mound facing left-handed swinging Jared Mitchell. Anderson had a very nice year for the Barnstormers in 2017. 3-1 with a 3 ERA. He struck out 74 batters in 60 innings, an average of 11.1 hitters per 9 innings. He walked 39. He would be wild at times. He gave up only 43 hits. 6'2" left-hander from Berkeley, California originally, now lives in Tampa, Florida. 29 years of age up until his arrival with the Barnstormers a year ago, a career Toronto Blue Jay farmhand. Got to AAA Buffalo for periods of time in both 15 and 16. This guy, when he throws strikes, has electric stuff. He'll now encounter Mitchell, who is homered and flied out twice to center. The last one on a very fine running shoestring catch by Darian Sanford. Witherspoon, the runner at first base. He's already stolen one tonight. No throw made by Anderson De La Rosa on a pitch that almost hit Jared Mitchell at the time. The wine and the offering, and Mitchell will take it low for a ball, 1-0. Anderson made one start against Somerset last year. That didn't go well. His ERA in relief actually was a mere 2.45. 1-0, and to Mitchell. High fly ball, shallow right field. Galen darting in. Noel going out, and finally Rico Noel races underneath to make the catch. Blake Galen never would have gotten there. The move works for Ross Peoples. Mitchell pops out to end the inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on. We've come to the end of 7 now here at Peoples Bank Park. It is still the York Revolution 4 and the Lancaster Barnstormers 3.
Localflavor.com, local flavor, localflavor.com, local flavor.
Excuse me, are you saying localflavor.com?
Oh, yeah, it's where I save big bucks on all kinds of things. Home improvement projects, dining out, family fun, electronics, jewelry, clothing. I even bought my wife a fancy spa package for half price.
Half price?
Yep, you know all the deals you find in Clipper Magazine.
I love Clipper Magazine.
Well, they're all on localflavor.com too. And you can get them right on your phone thanks to localflavor.com's mobile app. Here, take a look.
Well, this app is amazing. Look at all these restaurants, amusement parks, car washes, fitness centers. This is worth sharing about.
Exactly. Localflavor.com online, the Local Flavor mobile app, and Clipper Magazine together. It's like a triple play.
Do the cheer again. I'm in.
Localflavor.com. Local Flavor. Come on, everybody. Localflavor.com. Local Flavor. Localflavor.com. Local Flavor.
Robert Carson now makes his debut for the York Revolution. Carson has been with Bridgeport and Southern Maryland over the past 2 or 3 seasons. And we're going to have a pinch hitter as Ryan Castile will bat for Kyle Waldrop. Good friends, teammates last year at Arkansas, and they had very similar seasons. But Castile, a right-handed batter against the left-hander Carson. First pitch, wrapped on the ground, base hit, left field. Well, the Barnstormers with their first hit since Waldrop's infield single back in the 3rd inning. 5 hits altogether for Lancaster, but the Barnstormers have the tying run at first base, and now Ross Peoples dials up another move and sends Keenan Walker out there to run for Castile. And that is the benefit of having 5 guys on the bench to start the season. Walker stole 48 bases last year in the Frontier League, but he is a former first-round pick of the Chicago White Sox and just a tremendous natural athlete. Trayvon Robinson steps in from the right side of the plate. Carson throws to first base. Walker back in. Robert Carson from Hattiesburg, Mississippi originally, now lives in Oxnard, California, 29 years of age, 6'4", and a 260-pounder. His 4th season here in the Atlantic League. The pitch to Trayvon, wrapped, and a base hit into left field. The Barnstormers in business here in the 8th inning. 1st and 2nd, nobody out. Walker parking at second base. Robinson aboard. Anderson De La Rosa is the scheduled hitter. And you could anticipate a bunt here. Well, the Barnstormers still have Matt Hibbert and Isaac Wenrick available off of the bench after they make the natural moves here in the 8th inning. We got the lefty batting catcher first baseman in Wenrick, and switch hitting infielder Carlos Garcia, and a right-handed hitting utility man in Hibbert. Lead runner goes for third, called strike on De La Rosa, but Walker makes it without a throw. Anderson De La Rosa down a strike. Trayvon Robinson did not budge off first. The double play still in order for the York Revolution, but the tying run at third, nobody out. Here in the 8th inning, up to De La Rosa to get the ball deep enough into the outfield. You don't have to hit it terribly far back for Keenan Walker. 1 strike to De La Rosa. The motion, the pitch is bounced, and this one is blocked by Clark. He had trouble earlier with Jay Gauss, but in a very important moment here in the late innings, Tyler Clark comes up big with a stop behind the plate. Walker, the runner at third. Robinson aboard at first. 1 ball, 1 strike to De La Rosa. Robert Carson ready to go. The motion, the pitch. De La Rosa ground ball. That is flagged by the third baseman, Cuevas, going to his left. Walker never breaks for the plate, and they get the double play around the horn. Walker just froze coming off of third, with the ball stabbed by Cuevas going to his left. De La Rosa grounds into the double play, and now it is up to Vladimir Frias, who will bat right-handed against Carson. Third straight ground ball on the left side. First one pinched off by the defenders. And all the while, Walker trying to figure out whether he should break for the plate or not, but you have to there. You can't allow that double play to occur. And now Frias has to deliver with 2 outs. The pitch is a called strike. It is 0-1. Really could happen there as you get caught in a rundown. The other guys move to second and third, or at least get the first and second if you're thrown out at the plate. Upstairs for a ball, it is 1-1. And part of it is you've got De La Rosa, the catcher, as the hitter. You have a faster guy they might not be able to turn to there. Here's a 1-1. Frias fouls it off. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Robert Carson on the verge of getting off the hook. For the first time in the game, get their leadoff man aboard. They build a big threat. First and third, nobody out. And a 5-4-3 double play. Pinches it off. Frias wraps it back to the mound. They're going to get out of the inning. Carson throws to first. And no dice for the Barnstormers here in the 8th. No runs, 2 hits, no errors. They leave 1, and we'll go to the bottom of the 8th inning. It is 4-3 in favor of York.
We can't help but always want more, especially on the road. More horsepower, heightened handling, elevated design. Get more out of your drive with the Lexus IS. Bold styling, track-tuned handling, available 311 horsepower. Experience the exhilaration of the IS 350 and IS 300. Available in F-Sport and all-wheel drive. See Bobby Rahal Lexus in Mechanicsburg.
Enjoy weekends with the Barnstormers all season long. Every Friday evening home game will feature a different giveaway ranging from t-shirts to beach towels to backpacks. On Saturdays, enjoy the best entertainment doubleheader there is with Barnstormers baseball followed by fireworks. Sundays are fun days at the ballpark. Get autographs from some of your favorite Barnstormers players and play catch on the field before the game. Once the game is over, it's a Domino's Pizza Kids Base Run. Call 717-509-HITS to order your tickets or go to LancasterBarnstormers.com, and we'll see you at the ballpark. Well, the Barnstormers let a huge opportunity go by in the top half of the 8th inning. They'll get one more shot with Noel Sanford and Bortnick scheduled in the top of the 9th. Meanwhile, Johnny Anderson has to keep the York Revolution under control in the bottom of the 8th inning. Casilla, Cuevas, and Burgess will face him. Anderson came on and retired Jared Mitchell on a pop-up to close out the bottom of the 7th inning. Lancaster trailing by 1, 4-3. The Barnstormers have had the lion's share of the base runners in this game, with 5 walks hit batter. They've had 12 base runners to just 7 for York, but home runs are the difference. So maybe that current philosophy in Major League Baseball is right after all, or certainly would bear out tonight. Called strike in on the switch hitting Alexi Casilla. He's 0 for 3. Anderson ready to go. Breaking ball fouled off. And a second strike. It's, according to the scoreboard, 1-2 on Casilla. Struck out 10, 7 for the York staff. Anderson to the plate. That's smashed on the ground by Bortnick down the left field line. Casilla rounds first. He is going to head towards second. Robinson tracking the ball down against the green wall. And by the time he picks it up, Casilla's already parked at second base with a leadoff double here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. That'll bring on Cuevas, who is 0 for 3. And York very much with the opportunity to score an insurance run here in the 8th inning. Well, it looked like the Barnstormers were certainly going to tie the game, if not take the lead. All of the Ross Peoples moves had paid off, and then it all broke down. And that top of the 8th inning looked like it might be a big inning. The way things started, breaking ball inside and low, ball 1 to Cuevas. 1 ball and no strikes. 6 hits now for both ball clubs tonight. One ball and nothing on Cuevas. Runner at second with nobody out. The pitch in on the hands, fouled away. We go to 1-1. Casilla, not the biggest threat to take off here that York has, but he could. John Cuevas, lefty batting DH, is on deck. Noel had crept towards second, fades back. The pitch, big swing and a miss for Cuevas. 1 ball and 2 strikes now. Lancaster with the setup guys in the 9th inning. Try and get it going all over again. Don't discount the possibility of base stealing there either. One ball, 2 strikes to Cuevas. A strikeout here would be nice. Just any kind of out that does not afford Casilla the opportunity to advance to third base. Here's the 1-2. Cuevas rides one foul off his hands once again. It is still 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mentioned that Anderson was the winning pitcher in the final game of the season here a year ago, which the Barnstormers would end up winning. Lance Sawatsky with a home run. The third time in that ball game, he'd either tied the game or given the Barnstormers a lead from the 6th inning on. And that the final game in the career of Lance Sawatsky, who is now coaching in the Boston Red Sox organization. And what a way to go out. And then Anderson took things into his own hands. The Barnstormers had been playing for fun. They had their entire bench and bullpen. He was the last bat and the last arm, and singled in his only career at bat. Fly ball out the left. Robinson will be there. Easy catch and no shot for Casilla. 1 out, runner at second base. 40-31 on hand here tonight. And we also get word passed along to us that Submariner Garrett Granitz is warming up in the bullpen for the Barnstormers, and we may see him after Michael Burgess has to deal with John Anderson. Casilla at second, 1 out. The Barnstormers have not scored since the top of the 2nd inning. But what a wasted chance in the top of the 8th. Steele, a pinch hit single. Robinson singles. The pinch runner Walker swipes third. And it all died. Ball 1 is high to Burgess. 1-0. Runner at second with 1 out for the York Revolution here in the lower half of the 8th inning. Anderson brings it home. Breaking ball for a strike. It is 1-1. We're going to try sending the video again tomorrow, and it may work. You've got opening night and all kinds of media up here sending. The internet just wasn't strong enough to handle it. If you tuned in, I think you got that it was continuously buffering and not sending much audio and sending the video. So we went to the audio stream, tried to get the video back on, and it continued to just buffer on the YouTube feed. It was working fine here. We were getting the feed into the computer here, but it wasn't getting out of the building. 2 balls and 1 strike. Casilla, long lead off second, trying to distract Anderson. The 2-1 pitch into the dirt. Good cover by De La Rosa. 3 balls, 1 strike. Zach Wilson, right-handed slugger, is on deck, and I would imagine that he is going to have to contend with Mr. Granitz if he gets up there. Granitz pitched here in York, gave up a double to Jared Mitchell, the first batter he faced, and then just sawed him down 6 in a row. He's a career independent league guy, but he comes from a very funky angle. Popped up toward second base, or shortstop rather. Frias there at the edge of the infield grass, makes the catch and stares at Casilla. Alexi was planted at the bag. 2 men are gone, and Wilson is stepping in. Does Ross make the move, or does he stick with Anderson? Ross does tend to play the percentages, but he is not on his way out. So Granitz, for the time being, will stay warming up in the bullpen. Instead, it's going to be an intentional walk, which also makes sense with the left-handed batting Silva coming up now. First and second with 2 away. Silva's 0 for 3. Be nice for Anderson to wiggle out of this jam and keep the Barnstormers down by just 1. Lancaster last year won a franchise record 9 games when the Barnstormers trailed going into the final inning of play. They had never won more than 4 in a season in their entire history. Can they do it again tonight? Fly ball toward left center field. This one curling back toward Trayvon Robinson. He'll make the grab for the final out. Silva's retired. Ross Peoples making all the right moves out here tonight, but he needs to put together 1 or 2 more somehow in the 9th inning. We go there with the score, the York Revolution 4 and the Lancaster Barnstormers 3.
Okay, John, shelves are stocked.
So are the new Fast Play games from the Pennsylvania Lottery. Just pick your game, get your ticket, and see if you've won.
Like $20 on the spot, loaded with $20 prizes.
Yep, winning's never been faster.
Not faster than me clearing these shelves.
Dude, I hope you're even faster at restocking.
Yeah.
Fast Play. Play fast, win instantly. The Pennsylvania Lottery. Players must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly. Benefits older Pennsylvanians every day.
Enjoy a weeknight with the Barnstormers and leave with your wallet largely intact. Come on out on Munchie Mondays for all you can eat nachos, dogs, fries, popcorn, and soda for 2 hours. Or how about Koozie Tuesdays, where fans of legal age can enjoy $2 domestic drafts from 6:30 to 8. Bring your dog on Wiener Wednesdays and enjoy delicious dollar dogs as well. Or on Thrifty Thursday, popcorn is just $1, sodas are $2, and lawn seats are only $3. Call 717-509-HITS to order your tickets or go to LancasterBarnstormers.com, and we'll see you at the ballpark. Robert Carson stays in as the Barnstormers sent Rico Noel to the plate, opening up the 9th inning. Noel has drawn a walk. He has struck out twice, has a run scored. Lancaster needing a run. Noel, Sanford, Bortnick, and then you get to Galen Turdosevich and Castile. Big Carson twists in for a strike, called 0-1 on Noel. Robert Carson looking for a 2-inning save, back-to-back hits to start his performance. He comes with the curler again, and this time misses. Ball 1 and strike 1. Robert Carson ready to go 1-1. Fastball here outside. 2-1. Carson, when he was with Bridgeport, threw one of the great games ever against the Barnstormers. A shutout. He was 7-3, 2.88 ERA with Bridgeport in 15. Here's a 2-1 pitch. That gets the top of the zone. A second strike on Noel. Rico trying to do whatever he can to reach base here and get the Barnstormers underway in the top half of the 9th inning. We've been scoreless since the Ryan Dent home run. Matt Reynolds has begun to throw for the Barnstormers. Here's the pitch. Ground ball left side, base hit. Noel is on to start things off for the Barnstormers here in the 9th. A sharp smash to the left of Jose Cuevas. He had no play. Barnstormers base hit number 7. Can Noel guess right on Robert Carson? Darian Sanford will be the hitter. Sanford with the key hit back in the 2nd inning. A 2-run double. He scored later in that inning on a wild pitch. The Barnstormers haven't been able to get a run across since. Back-to-back innings now have opened up with Lancaster singles through the left side. Carson will deal to first base. Back in is Noel. Josh Bell coaching third. David Ruckert over at first base. Game on the line here in the top of the 9th inning. Carson will go to work on Sanford. Darian squares the bunt, takes a strike on the outside corner. It is 0-1. Lancaster certainly has given itself chances here in the late innings. The home runs and the one fly ball lost in the twilight Otherwise, the Barnstormers have really played a nice game. Here's the pitch to Sanford. No sign of a bunt, and it's taken outside. A ball and a strike. Tyler Bortnick waiting on deck. And then with nobody warming up in the bullpen for the York Revolution, Galen would have to face the left-handed Robert Carson. Throw to first, and again, back in is Noel. Dangerous base thief, 34 stolen bases in 56 games for the Barnstormers last year. Lancaster has been able to steal 3 in the game tonight. Another throw to first. Noel back in standing. Kyle Waldrop with a stolen base. Keenan Walker with a stolen base. And Trayvon Robinson owns a stolen base. Carson to the plate. 1-1 pitch is high. Sanford with the edge in the count. 2 balls and a strike. Lancaster trying to do what the Barnstormers were known for last year, and that is a late inning uprising to steal a game away. Sometimes it was the long ball last year. Sometimes it was a clean base hit. Sometimes they got a break. Noel goes. The 2-1 is high. The Clark throw is bounced in and in time to cut down Rico Noel. Noel is thrown out trying to steal, and the Barnstormers lose their leadoff base runner. Well, the base running game for the second inning in a row really goes south on the Barnstormers. Meanwhile, Darian Sanford left at the plate and trying to get things going all over again. It was a high fastball. Clark got rid of it quickly, although he did bounce it in. Driven foul by Sanford out of play down the left field line. 3-2. With Bortnick waiting on deck. Well, the Barnstormers are going to live by the stolen base and occasionally die by the stolen base attempts. Darian Sanford up there, 3-2. Carson ready to go. The motion, the pitch, and it's ball 4. Sanford is now on. Things would really be brewing for the Barnstormers if Noel had not gone. And Rico even had guessed correctly that Carson was going to the plate. He had learned to read him. And Rico very good at that. But it was just the wrong pitch. And Clark's throw, though bounced, was right on line. Here is Tyler Bortnick. And we'll see if Sanford runs. Carson will lob a throw over. Darian back in. Another throw. This time, Sanford forced to dive to the bag. Just 2 outs left of the Barnstormers. The bullpen has done a very good job here tonight. There goes Sanford. He guessed wrong. The throw from Wilson back to second base, and Darian Sanford is gone, and he can't believe it. He is hot, but he's tagged out by Casilla. The call made by the third base umpire, Mike Williams, and now 2 stolen base attempts here in the 9th inning. Ross Peoples goes out. He gets into it with Mike Williams. And it's now up to Bortnick, who has yet to see a pitch, as the Barnstormers have lost 2 base runners here in the 9th inning. Ross Peoples still involved in the discussion with the third base umpire, Williams. Noel didn't look happy, but Sanford came up, jumping up and down. Ross will head back to the dugout. It's all up to Bortnick with Galen on deck. Meanwhile, Paul Fletcher is going to pay a mound visit. 2 innings in a row, the Barnstormers have had their first 2 men reach base. Last inning, a double play, and then a comebacker took him out of the inning, and here they have lost two guys stealing second base. Lancaster is 3 for 5 on the stolen base tries tonight. Get on to set up Galen. Tyler Bortnick, not a guy you expect the game-tying home run out of. He does have 37 home runs in his career, but just 3 in 123 Atlantic League games. 2 outs, nobody on base. Carson will go to work on Bortnick, and the pitch is high, ball 1. Carson doing the job, holding the Barnstormers at first base. There's a strike to the outside corner, 1-1. And even last inning, when Walker stole third, Trayvon didn't go from first base. And that played a role last inning as well. At least there wouldn't have been a double play. The Barnstormers still might not have scored. Here's a 1-1, big swing and a miss by Bortnick. He was trying to do it all himself there. The Barnstormers are down to a final strike here tonight, trailing 4-3 in the top of the 9th inning. Playing ultimately very well, but unable to keep up with the York long balls. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Bortnick. Here's the motion and the pitch. Swinging the ball, belted out the left field. Racing into the corner goes Ruby Silva, and he is there to make the catch for the final out just in front of the big wall in left field. Bortnick flies out to end the game. No runs, a hit, no errors, and as it turns out, nobody left on base. Seemed like the Barnstormers did everything but win here tonight. 1 down, 125 to go. We'll be back with the line totals in just a moment. Our final score, the York Revolution 4 and the Lancaster Barnstormers 3.
Learn from the pros right here in Lancaster. The Lancaster Barnstormers are offering 2 3-day-long youth clinics this summer with instruction on pitching, hitting, fielding, and base running. Each session, led by veteran professional players, will last from 9 until noon with lunch to follow. Choose from June 19th to 21st or July 24th to 26th. So learn what it takes to succeed on the field and off. Call the Barnstormers office at 717-509-HITS or go to LancasterBarnstormers.com. Space is limited. Act now.
Introducing the all-new Lexus RX 350L, designed for room. Room for a power-folding third row. Room for up to 7.
Yeah, we should go to that.
And room for the unexpected. The 3-row RXL. It's the RX with room for more. Experience the innovative RXL and RXL Hybrid. See Bobby Rahal Lexus in Mechanicsburg.
RX 450HL arriving spring 2018.
Well, the Lancaster Barnstormers for the second straight season lose by a run on the road on opening night. Last year it was in extra innings 2-1 to the Somerset Patriots on a walk-off home run by Jovan Gonzalez. Tonight it is a 4-3 loss at the hands of the York Revolution. 4 runs on 6 hits, no errors, and 5 men left on base for York. The Barnstormers 3 runs, 7 hits, no errors, 8 left. Joe Van Meter with the win, awarded by the official scorekeeper. 1-0, of course, for Van Meter here on opening night. He threw 2 hitless innings 5 and 6. The loss to starter Joe Gardner, who probably deserved better tonight. The ERA will not look pretty for Gardner coming out of the night, but a fly ball at the wrong time of night cost him dearly. He did give up 2 home runs. That was really about it off of Gardner in the game, but he is 0-1. The save to Robert Carson, his first. Carson allowed 4 out of 7 men to face him to reach base. He allowed 3 hits and a walk in 2 innings, but a double play and 2 runners thrown out stealing at second base earn him the save. The home runs, both on the York side. Jared Mitchell with the bases empty, leading off the game, in fact, and then Ryan Dent with the big blow of the night, the 3-run home run with 2 outs in the bottom half of the 4th inning. And that decided the ball game as it turned out. We didn't necessarily think it would be the case at the time it happened. 2 hours, 52 minutes, the time of the game, 40-31 on hand here at Peoples Bank Park on this lovely April Thursday evening as the York Revolution beat the Lancaster Barnstormers by the score of 4-3. We'll have a recap of the game and the out-of-town scores when we come back here on Barnstormers YouTube channel right after this.
Like craft beers, local wines? Well, the best place to be in Lancaster then is Clipper Magazine Stadium. That's right, all new for 2018 is on the right field line. The Broken Bat will feature more than 20 local craft breweries and product from 2 local wineries. If something with a little more kick is your adult beverage of choice, a local distillery is part of the Broken Bat as well. Food will be sold off a pub-style menu, so get together, hang out with your friends, make some new ones, and enjoy a night of craft beer sampling along with the Barnstormers game.
AMT Concerts presents Rock at the Park Festival, Saturday, July 21st. That's from Fuel. Eve 6. Sister Hazel. Long Beach Dub All-Stars. Fastball, and more. Rock at the Park, Saturday, July 21st at Clipper Magazine Stadium, Lancaster. Tickets on sale now at rockatthepark.com.
Welcome back from Peoples Bank Park in York, where the Barnstormers have fallen here on opening night by a final score of 4-3. For York, it was the home run ball. Jared Mitchell with the leadoff blast right of the batter's eye in the bottom half of the 1st inning. And then Ryan Dent in the 4th inning, the 3-run home run. But that was set up in a peculiar way. Joe Gardner was pitching brilliantly. He started off the 4th inning with a strikeout of Jose Cuevas. For Joe, that made it 8 consecutive batters retired, 4 of those coming on strikes, and he appeared to be in a great rhythm. He did walk Michael Burgess for the 2nd time tonight. Zach Wilson hit a fly ball to left field, and right away, Trayvon Robinson threw his hands out wide, saying, "I don't see it." And the ball, I truly believe, if he hadn't taken a step back at the very last second, would have hit him on the head, and that created havoc for Gardner and the Barnstormers. Runners ended up at 2nd and 3rd as Wilson was awarded a double on the play. Gardner would then strike out Ruby Silva, getting a break, gotten away from Joe, almost hit Silva in the head. In fact, I thought it did, but it actually grazed off his bat as he was diving back out of the way. Silva would eventually strike out. Ross Peoples went to the mound to talked to Gardner perhaps to make a decision as to what to do with Ryan Dent. They pitched to him, and Dent nailed the first pitch out of the ballpark to left center field for the 4-3 lead that held up the rest of the way. The Barnstormers had taken a 3-1 lead in the second inning on walks to Vladimir Frias and Rico Noel, both coming with 2 outs. And then Darian Sanford, the outfielders, as they're prone to do against Darian, pulled in tightly, and Sanford would drive the ball past the right fielder, Jared Mitchell, into the alley for a 2-run double to give the Barnstormers the lead. Sanford would then scamper around the bases on 2 wild pitches, the second and third of the inning, surrendered by Jay Gauss, who would eventually fire 4 away from Tyler Clark in the ball game. It would stay 4-3. The Barnstormers had chances, though. They had runners at first and second on walks in the 6th inning. Joe Van Meter got out of that, striking out Rico Noel. Then in the 7th inning, Tyler Bortnick got to second base with 2 outs. Joey Tardoslavich grounded out to the shortstop. The 8th inning was the one there was the greatest promise. Pinch hitting for Kyle Waldrop led off the inning with a smash through the left side, and then Trayvon Robinson, batting right-handed against Robert Carson, followed suit. The Barnstormers had runners at first and second with nobody out. Anderson De La Rosa bluffed the bunt. Keenan Walker broke for third. He stole it without a throw. The Barnstormers had runners at the corners, nobody out. And you think at least they're going to tie the game at that point. It never happened. De La Rosa grounded into a 5-4-3 around the horn double play on a ground ball hit to the left that Jose Cuevas, the third baseman. He froze. Keenan Walker, the runner at third, froze, never darted for the plate, allowing the Revs to make that clean double play, 5-4-3. And then Vladimir Frias with the runner at third, 2 outs, hit a comebacker to end the inning. And then in the 9th inning, the Barnstormers had a single to left by Noel leading off against Carson. He would be thrown out on a steal attempt at second base. He thought he was safe. It was a bang-bang play from the way it looked here. And then Darian Sanford picked up a walk. Sanford broke on Robert Carson. Still, Zach Wilson had to get the ball to second base. He did, and it was ruled also that Sanford was out at second base. That drew the ire of Darian and also drew Ross Peoples out of the dugout to no avail. 2 outs, nobody on. Tyler Bortnick swinging for the fences, trying to do it all himself. Lofted a fly ball deep to left field, run down by Ruby Silva, and that would be it for the Barnstormers here tonight. They drop a 4-3 decision here in the opener to the York Revolution. York won the Community Cup last year, 10-9, and they delivered the first blow here in 2018. 4-3 York, our final score. Again, we were the only game in the Atlantic League here tonight. We'll try and bring up the Major League scoreboard, but again, the internet is giving me fits. I can tell you that the Phillies lost 8-2 earlier today to the Arizona Diamondbacks. I can't get the Major League scores back, so we're going to call it an evening here from People's Bank Park in York, Pennsylvania. The final score once again, the York Revolution 4, the Lancaster Barnstormers 3. Join us tomorrow evening at 6:15 here from York. Friday evening, the second game of the season. So until then, for Ryan Cortazzo, Alex Einhorn, and Joey